Oh, it's page 2 already. And they spelled Tuesday wrong. Oh, it's page 2 already.
Hello and welcome to
Flory
Models.
Tuesday wrong.
Yeah, well that means the sound's working. Hold on, pause that. There we go. All good. Just making sure everything works. Hello and welcome to Flory Models Live. Here we are for Tuesday's questions on the 1st of November. So happy first day, everybody. You do Movember? Oh, you've already started.
Yeah, started early.
Moved on with that one. I'll get murdered if I do that again. So yes, welcome to Tuesday's usual bit of fun. Have a post up all your questions as normal in the forum. We've got quite a few already, but if you want us to do that live, obviously we can do that. We're going to spend the next 2 hours with you, going through your bits and pieces and trying to sort out any queries you might have. So Steve, what have you been up to?
It seems to be very little actually. Here we go. Let's bring it over. Spent what seems an eternity. It's had its first little wash on, just starts gradually bringing out all the detail, but now it needs sealing in, and then I'm going to start doing some chipping and some scratches and stuff like that. So yeah, it's getting there. You can see all decals really starting to come to life now.
No, that's looking lovely, mate. That's looking absolutely fantastic. Stunning work on that.
Yeah, it's been worth replacing quite a lot of the wire and. It's additional.
So you dumped all that vinyl.
No, there's still bits on. Some of it I still might replace, but I'm definitely glad I put the legend set on the front.
Yeah,
because I think it just, adds to it, adds more level of detail and makes it more interesting model.
No, it looks absolutely stunning. Will it be ready for Telford?
Hope so. Yeah, it should be.
Cool.
But I really enjoying building this, and like I say, I'm hoping what I'm planning on doing. I've already built one Cougar. I'm going to build another one, which will be the Panda. I also build the Buffalo, mine clearance vehicle, and have them all roughly on the kind of the same base. Get some bastions, Pope in the background, so they're just ready to go out on a mission.
Yeah.
A couple of M wraps on there, so it should look quite nice. Get a few figures and.
Definitely. I must admit, I have one of those said barrier things just here. I don't know which cameras are actually on today. Hold on. There we go. I go in. Have you seen these yet, Steve?
Yeah, they're on my shopping list actually.
So yeah, these are a little bit different. If I put you on full page, we can do a quick mini live review. Where are we? Where's full? That's the one. Sorry, learning all things. So in here, what you actually get, it's a little bit disappointing. Beautifully packaged for a couple, but you only get 2. Okay. But down in the depths of this, to get them out, we've actually got them beautifully cast. Very nice. I love the, obviously off the mold, but it actually doesn't look like it's molded. It looks like it's real wire actually on these, so I think by the time they've sort of been dry brushed in, they should pick up the details extremely well. No problem at all on those, but it's just that it's very clever moulding on these corners where it would be generally wire in real life. Putting them all together, then obviously you've got a hex system. You need a little bit of clean out on the top, and then you get these guys. So you've got 2 tops which are different. So you've got one which is more depressed, this one is slightly mounded, and then technically, as you know, that'll go in the top. It'll make your barrier. So I must admit, very nicely done. I think by the time that's been painted and weathered and generally looked after, it'll look very, very nice. The only thing is, you're going to get a bit expensive if you want to build a wall.
That's the thing. You see, I was thinking I'd need half a dozen of them, to get a few.
I think that's the thing, you would, yeah. Because obviously in here, you just get the 2. And to be honest, it's one of those sort of things where 2, you might as well not bother, because you're not going to find just 2 anywhere, are you? The other thing as well is that I don't know if it's the same from every angle, but they don't butt up particularly well. so it wouldn't be like real life where they really pack them together. So that's the only slight drawback. What would have been nice really, I don't know if you can see it on the bottom, you can see how they're sort of bulged, is if they had one side that was perhaps flat, so you could pair two together to make them a lot tighter. But generally, I think by the time you get a load of them going in a row, you'd be fine. But I can't remember how much these were.
I think
sure.
they're about £15–16, aren't they? I think that, or are they cheaper? Oh, well, that's
20 quid, yeah.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Yeah, that's it. They are. Just got the sheet there. Yeah, these are 20 quid. They're £19.99 the recommended retail on these, which is a lot of money for just that. Let's face it, that's a normal price for a good quality sort of, you know, semi-second kit really, you know, or something a bit cheaper. But generally, I think they're very nice. Just very overpriced for what they are. But then I suppose it's casting of the resin. These are resin. They're not injection molded, so obviously that's going to add to a little bit of the price. But I don't know. Might be one of those ones where you might be able to fashion something up to look like it. You could obviously, if you wanted to, cut these up. So cut them off into 4 and use them as a face. So make a backing and then use these as a face if you were building a wall, and that way you get away with 4 down the front and then 1 on each side and do it like that. But I think for 20 quid, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to go through.
I think it's too expensive, to be honest.
Definitely. Then I've got one of these. Oh, sorry. Right. So this is the arm, which is from the original arm, from this guy, who's now back with us again. So I must admit, last night and yesterday's project was getting this guy. The only thing is I've got trouble getting his arm on, because I think I've actually knocked something to try and get this in, but I don't want to force it too much at the moment. But there we go. This is number 2 of his head. He just had an accident around about the midriff and torso. The arms are fine, and this arm's gone in, but this one needs clicking in again. There we go. Okay, and everything else like that. But this is our little man, so he'll be coming along. Part 2 of that will be up on Monday, which gets him up with all the painting and everything else like that. And then the other bit is all here. To be honest, I haven't actually started filming this. I was out this morning doing all the stocky bits and things like that with the suppliers. But I've got all of this all ready to go. This is going to be the next build up, which we're going to start on. The first part of this will go up obviously next week, and that's going to be your Gloucester Meteor. So this is the FX kit, which is really nice. Some very nice detailing on these parts, which I think by the time we do quite I wouldn't say a bland paint job on it, but it's not going to be anything over the top and too fussy or anything else like that. I'm going to build this one pretty much straight out of the box, and then we're going to sort of, you know, play with doing various fit issues and stuff where we know it's got sink marks, for instance. We know it's going to have some seam lines and stuff like that, so I'm going to show my way of dealing with those, which will be a little bit different. So yes, that's my plan. And then next week is obviously pre-Telford week, which means chaos, utter chaos. The entire studio will get ripped to bits because most of it comes with us, and everything else like that. So it's going to be a bit of a chaotic time next week. So we'll just have to see how we go. But obviously you'll be able to follow me through the live shows and the vlogs and all the bits and pieces, and we'll do it like that. Anyway, right, let me queue up here my new super duper system. I was saying to Steve, the trouble is I lose my mouse now. Right, okay, so that's that there. Right, ready for the questions then, Steve?
I am indeed, yeah.
Okay, so Eric says up, first question this week. Hi Phil, will you be doing a review of the new Tamiya 148 Tomcat item number blah 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 in the future? And any chance you'll build it? Any other 148 Tomcat to consider? Yes, I have it here. I've had it a couple of weeks now. From Matt brought it down for me. To be honest, I'm not that worried about jumping on it and doing a review because everyone's reviewed this to death. So what I was planning on doing is waiting for the AMK one to come out and we can do a joint sort of review between the both of them. I'm not going to comment on this because obviously I've spoken far too much recently and got myself into a lot of trouble over various things. But there does seem to be a bit of a divide in the hobby, shall we say, about this particular kit. I have my view on it that I was just hoping that Tamiya would have brought us the mother of all Tomcats, if I'm honest. I thought that's what we were going to get, and I was expecting great things from it. When this guy turned up, I can agree with what a lot of people have said. It is a perfect representation of a Tomcat. I've got no doubts about that at all. I was just hoping that it would have had posable control surfaces, engines, panels, you know, a nose that opens up showing all the radar and everything else, perhaps a pull-out one as well. I was just expecting something really, really good, and to be honest, I was a bit disappointed with it. But if you just want a normal, straightforward, out of the box build, then this is your definitive Tomcat, you know. And obviously it's the A version. I prefer the D, if I was honest, the Super Tomcat, but yeah, it's fine. The one I am looking forward to be honest, and I'll probably build rather than this one, is the AMK one. Now the AMK one, chances are the details will be overcooked because that's what they tend to do. They're not a perfect manufacturer, but in the CAD work and what we've seen so far, this thing is what I thought this was going to be. As in, it's got engines, it's got full detail, it's got everything opens up, posable, everything on it. And then that way I think you can do a lot more with that particular kit. That said, this could probably be a great out-of-the-box build. Okay, so we might come back to this kit later on in life, or you know, in the near future, perhaps even as a one-day build. It's not rocket science to put this one together. Okay, so that is the point to it. But as I said, there's loads of reviews out on this. Everybody seems to have done a review. Everyone has their own opinion, and to be honest, at the end of the day, it's a Tamiya kit, which means it's going to go together very, very well. You're going to have any fit issues, anything else like that, and you're going to end up with a perfect Tomcat at the end of it. As I said, I was just hoping for a little bit more, and that's why I can't wait for the AMK kit to come out. When the AMK kit comes out, I think then we're going to see all the difference. A little bit like we saw on this week's review, which I still haven't edited, for the Versus one, which is the Hobby Boss Foxhound versus the AMK Foxhound. The AMK one comes with a full engine, full intakes, the detail is beautiful and everything else right the way through, everything's posable. Hobby Boss one, pretty much what you see is what you get. It's an external out-of-the-box build, okay? So it's very similar to sort of this sort of scenario. But yeah, definitely, if you are new to the hobby, if you don't want any problems, if you want a simple build, this is definitely the kit. It'll go together a lot better than AMKs, I can tell you that, and everything else, so yeah. In the future, never know, you might see it.
Yeah,
Ever built Tomcat?
No. I've got the Hobby Boss one, but I'm going to wait to see out the other two, which, you know, your reviews to see what I'd go for. Because I won't mind building one of them. If I can just go back to the Bastion cage barriers that you've just been looking at, Accurate Armour do a set, and I don't know how wide yours are, but there's a 30 by 30 and the 40mm high. They're all different, and you get 6 in the box for £16. And they actually look as though they put together as well.
Right, well these are 35 by 35. Yeah.
So they're, you know, 2 of them is what, 7 centimetres compared to 6, which is 18. So you can see, I'd say if you're looking for some, I'd go for the Accurate Armour. And like I say, all the tops are different as well. No 2 are the same, and they do look so they butt up better as well.
Ah, right, okie dokie.
So there you go.
And how much were those?
They're £16 for 6.
Oh, right, for 6. And as I say, a lot better when you're talking 20 quid for 2. So there we go. There's our great savings for the day. Okay, so next question up is Rob Lee. Hi guys, just wanted to say to whoever does your postal orders, I ordered a bottle of concrete wash on Thursday last week and it arrived on Saturday. That'll be me. I do all the members ones. Also, are you planning on reviewing the Airfix's new 148 P40B kit? I have one on the way and it'd be interesting to see your thoughts on it. It's great to see that it's made it into the UK. It's worth buying. Sorry, it's made in the UK. It's worth buying for it alone. Makes a change. Actually, that'll be the first one in a while. They usually outsource, isn't it? And if it's worth doing overall coats on 2 different colours of Flory wash, for example, dark dirt and then concrete, or vice versa, would I need to clear coat between washes to stop them mixing and turning into a brown grey colour? I'm thinking of doing this to give a various in weathering panel line colour on a 148 F4U-1D Corsair I've been building whilst watching you guys for the turkey shootout. Okay, so first of all, yes, I will get one. I might actually pick one up at Telford. I haven't got any plans to do any big orders or anything else before Telford, because obviously we're just so close to it. So I'll probably pick one up at Telford, to be honest, and I'll bring it back and do a review on that one. So yes, we will be looking at that one. And I wasn't aware it's made in the UK, so it's nice to see it back. As for mixing the colours, usual thing with the wash, it depends if you're going to rehydrate it, i.e. if you've done your model and it's completed, like something like this guy, okay? So if you've done the underside for this and you put the wash down and you're thinking, yeah, I just want to give it some blotchiness around it, as long as this is totally dry, you can overcoat it with no problem at all. It won't suddenly blend together, it will just sit on top of the old one. But if you're in here with a brush and you're, you know, keep sort of agitating it and brushing over it, you are going to mix it as if it's in a cup or anything else. So in that case, you probably want to put a clear coat down between coats to seal it, and then the water can't get to it, it can't mix, it can't get wet again, if you like, and rehydrate. So from that point of view, you've got both options. But many times what I will do is, if I'm doing naval stuff, I'll put the dark dirt right the way over it, and then as it's still wet on the model, so you put your dark dirt liberally brushed everywhere, then I'll come in with grey or the concrete, and I'll just put blotches and sort of stab it about, and some of it I'll mix, some of it I'll let it sit on top, and that way when you totally dry and you wipe it all away, it will give you a patchy look. And another little one to that is, to make it work even better, is to sand it off. Don't wet your cloth and just wipe it off, because what you'll do is you'll smear it together. But if you take an old sanding stick or sponge, preferably sponge, okay, and go and attack it with a brick or something to start with, then go over the model, that will just give you a dusty, grimy overall look to everything. And to be honest, that's how I used to do a lot of the Hornets, because it's just a quick and easy way of doing it. But as I said, like everything, just imagine if you rehydrate something, turns back to a liquid and mix it round, you're going to have troubles with it. So you might want to just line them up. But I used to literally wet as it was still wet, and that way it sort of blends a little bit and gives it sort of that patchy, mottly, sort of dirty look all over it. If you go back, I think the Tomcat had it, to be honest, the 30-second Tomcat, I think we weathered that like it by giving it blotches, and I flick it over it as well to make it go patchy, with greys and lights as well, just to sort of make it look nasty. I'm just trying to think of other things we did to it. I think we did the Jaguar as well, like it, with that type of weathering. Just having a look. Anything like that tends to get a good old, just chuck it all over it and see what happens. Indeedy.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, that's it. It's one of those things. It can't go wrong, so it doesn't matter, does it? If it goes wrong,
Yeah.
start again. Just give it another coat. Okay. Oh, sorry. It's a bit weird getting used to doing two-finger scrolling, if that makes sense. Okay, so is that Kane? Yes. Hi Steve and Phil, just a question about the AK microfiller primer. I would normally spray it with a 0.2. Is this stuff thin enough to be used in a 0.2, or would you still recommend a 0.4? To be honest, I spray it with a 0.2 because that's all I've got. My other 0.4 is in this one, and I very rarely, because it's dusty, very rarely use it. All my other airbrushes down there are both 0.2s, and it sprays perfectly, beautifully, and everything else. Usual thing with it though is when you're putting it down, treat it like a lacquer, as in don't flood it, as in full pull. Get used to half pulling the trigger, and you don't need to give it quite as much air pressure as you do with an acrylic, which is something I am literally learning day by day. I was doing a bit of airbrushing over the weekend, and I was using lacquers again, and I messed up, quite frankly, and what it was, it looked wet and it dried patchy. And a lot of people talk about when using that metallics and it's got that sort of gritty lines in it, it looks like sand. That's what it did to me on a normal buff colour, and to be honest, what I did is I just flooded it and it dried like it. So secret, back off, let it dry, and then obviously come back in and just half a pull, lower air pressure, and just lightly build up the colours, and it came back perfectly. But if you flood it, you get that sort of sandbar effect, I call it. It looks like tide mark in your paintwork. Have you had a go with your MRPs yet?
I have. Well, I painted the Huskies all MRP. Yeah, it's superb. Beautiful finish. You know, it's so smooth. But yeah, it does. You just have to mist it on. Start at one side of your model, work your way around, just mist it on. And once the first little misted coat on, there's a chance just to bite in. Then you can gradually add more and more paint. But yeah, it's once you get used to spraying at low pressure, you know, it's wonderful stuff.
It is, and you know, I hate to mention spraying on a sprue, but clearly, as you can see on here,
You don't spray on sprue, do you?
I did. Did you know
Yeah,
that?
that's
Terrible.
shocking.
I don't know. Take me out and shoot me. But yeah, the thing is, when I was doing this one again, it was amazing how little paint I used because I've actually almost sprayed 2 of these things now, and it literally just goes for miles. As soon as you retrain your mind to not flood it. When you're dealing with acrylics, you need a lot of power and a lot of oomph. And like when you're using other types of primer, for instance, if you're using Stynylrez, res, it quite likes a big needle, lots of air pressure and pushing it out quite heavy. This stuff's very refined. So when you're switching over to using things like, you know, the microfiller, which is this one, it is that thing of like, it's very thin, so it doesn't need all that work, and it's amazing how much closer you can get. So instead of like, you know, Steve probably will get this line of painting more than I will because I'm very much a high pressure blasting it down type. Steve, when you watch him airbrush, he's very much a case of he sort of does panel by panel and works his way along. That's what you want to do with lacquers because you can get a lot closer. And obviously, the closer you are, the less sort of cone you've got coming out, which means the less paint you're wasting because you're only going to do what hits that central bit. Okay, and that's the thing. So if you're blasting away at it and flooding it, probably 90% is going everywhere but on your model. But when I was doing this one, I'm still down to, I'll put them all back up there now, but I've probably got, I don't know, 10% of a bottle left, and I've almost sprayed 2 of these things now. Out of it, so it does go a long way, but it is just that thing of relearning it and moving in. And that's the thing, when you're using this, you might think, well, being a primer, I want a bigger 0.4 needle to put that coat down. No, you want to be a lot closer. That's the difference. You want to be twice as close spraying this as you do if you were spraying Stynylrez, and then that way you can build it up. And what will happen is you'll get a beautiful smooth finish. If you've got it so it's a little bit rough and it's just got that thing, could be 2 things. Either you've got something on there, so perhaps where you've been sanding, you've got a bit of dust and it's got caught in the texture, okay? Or more likely it's dried before it's got to the model, and that means your air pressure is too high and you're too far away. So just lower your air pressure, get closer in, and you'll end up with a totally smooth paint job. And to be honest, this guy was my learning curve for it all, because it was the first time I sprayed lacquers in, well, 15, 20 years. Okay, so from this time when I came in with it, as soon as I started doing it, it wasn't going right. It wasn't giving me that effect, and I was getting rough and it was textured, even with that primer going down. And you're sort of telling yourself, oh yeah, got to move closer. And that's what I did with it. And then lo and behold, it turned out absolutely beautiful. But again, it is that thing, it's just retraining, muscle memory in your hand. You know, learning not to go full pelt with your actual trigger, because normally it's like all air, pull it back, push it down, away you go. That is acrylics. But when you're doing something like this and the paint is so thin, if you do it, you're just going to flood it. You're wasting money because you're wasting paint going everywhere but on your model. But also you're going to end up with tide marks onto it. And all those guys that say to me about when you're using metallizers, you get that sort of tide mark. It looks like sandbars in there. You're flooding it. So it's not having time to level itself out and it's pushing away from each other. That is the trouble with it. So yes, good stuff. But it's still brilliant and lovely, and I'm loving spraying it. Although I will get my spray booth. As soon as we get Telford out of the way, we're going to be moving on to the redoing. We've done the computer area now, so this side this time we're going to get the spray booth sorted out, because as I say, it does get a bit whiffy round here. I know, because Mel comes home now and says, what you've been spraying. So yes. Right, okay, so Christopher says, hi Phil, with your new monitor up and running, I guess your next upgrade would be the spray booth. There you go, it's a great segue, if only I'd read this. Here's my question. So far, I know these spray booths in order. The Chinese knockoffs, the aircon ones, which these are the aircon ones each side of it, which is 17 watt or 38, and the X-John, is that what yours is? An
Hexagon. Yeah,
sorry, Hexagon booth that Steve has, and your A300, yes. Which would you recommend to resume in the hobby and want an upgrade equipment? I don't want to buy the cheapest and buy twice. Do you need extraction so then outside, or can you use a proper filter for indoor use? Okay, so Steve's got a very nice one. If you use that your cuppa, jeez.
Yeah, of course it is. Bang on time. Thank you.
I don't get one. Right, okay. So, little bit about spray booths. The Chinese ones, if you're on a budget and that's all you can afford, buy it. Okay, because anything that is getting that nasty stuff out of the environment is good. Okay. You want to make sure though and have them externally venting, okay? You don't really want to just be trying to filter them, because to be honest, yes you can filter them. These ones down here have got charcoal and carbon filters and all the rest of it in there. They make a right mess when you take them out, they break up. But this guy, the big one, doesn't, because it's just exhausting clean out the room. Personally, I would just say, get the hose system. You can get the door jamb ones, you can get the window ones, all the rest of it. Just get it out the house, okay? So just have it as an exhaust system and blow it out the thing. If you can only afford a Chinese cheapy one, buy a Chinese cheapy one. If you can afford an aircon one, as which these ones are, make sure you get the 38 watt. Don't even think about the 17, it just doesn't have enough pull. It sounds good, you think it's doing good, but if you're an acrylic sprayer, for instance, you will overload it and it hasn't got enough draw to get it out of your environment, okay? So all it's going to do is lightly suck it in, but it's not actually pulling the air clean out of the environment, all right? So these are good, they're great. The downside to these things is, one is obviously the mounting thing is to the rear, which most of the cheapy ones are. So the trouble with that is that you can't have it butted up against the wall. These aren't plugged in, to be honest, they're just sat here for show, okay? Because when I do plug them in, I have to pull them forward. And normally, to be honest, they come here on the desk, okay? Because the air thing is on the back. Also, it doesn't come with one, you've got to buy it, but that's not too bad. You can pick them up on eBay, or any of the airbrush companies will sell you one as well, and you can do it that way. Steve's, which is the hexagon one, which is like a tan spray booth filter system, isn't it? Because you can stand it on the floor and it looks up at you.
Yeah,
right,
well, it's on the bench, yeah, it's got an angle at the back. So
it's got an angle at the back, so you can have it tipped up, isn't it? So you can spray it into yours as well, isn't it? That you could have it up the other way. So you can actually have it, so this is the filter at the bottom, and you can spray onto that, which is quite a nice
Well, it's not quite on the, basically, to check that, you can either have it that way, or it tilts like that.
It tilts like that, yeah.
So you can, so it picks up the fumes either way. And because of the big hood that it's got, obviously it's pulling all the air that's directly in front of it. It's not kind of pulling it from that side, so it does focus it kind of
into it. The thing with Steve's is that's great is that it's all in one, all encased. Okay, so you've got the hood built in. If you're a bit like me and don't want the hood, you don't want to go with that one. Yours, I think, is around about 70 quid cheaper than mine, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Which you would think, I'm not being funny, because yours has got more mass to it, it'd be more expensive. But for some reason, it's not. This one, which I think works out around about 227 quid with your members discount, is great. It's still the mother of all ones. It pulls extremely well. It's very quiet and all the rest of it. I can't fault it in any way apart from it's quite expensive. Okay, and as I said, I am probably going to get a secondary one. I'm going to put them side by side. We're going to build a thing for it and all the rest of it. But generally, I think you can go as far as your budget will allow. You know, if you can just afford a Chinese one, buy a Chinese one. Okay, but the chances are it'll blow up at some point, or it's going to get really noisy, or it'll get hot and all the rest of it. Okay, then obviously an aircon, don't go with the 17, go straight to the 38. For the extra little bit of money, it's well worth it. They are very good, they are fine, they are absolutely, they fold up as well, and everything else like that, so they're really good. If you can afford it, just go the whole hog and buy that and buy it once. Comes with a lifetime guarantee as well, so it's going to be absolutely fine. It will last you a lifetime. And let's say I've had that one now for 8 years, I think it is now. And it's still like the day I had it. And if you do the cheapy thing we do with the filters we often speak about, it costs you nothing to run it. It's not like you're paying sort of, you know, 30 odd quid for a filter and stuff like that. They are very cheap, okay, and you can do it that way. But as I said, it's one of those things, just do what you can afford. You don't want to skint yourself out, but I know Steve's favourite little saying to this is, just don't buy a few kits. Save up the cost that you'd spend on 4 or 5 kits, build some of your stash, and buy an extractor of some description, okay, and do it. But just buy it within your budget and do it. And if you find that you're into the hobby in a big way, yes, it's a big investment, but I know people who spend more on an airbrush than they do on a spray booth. So from that point of view, it just depends, but definitely.
Yeah, mine's gone up to, because mine's got the extraction unit at the back. Because you can get different options. That one is £240 now.
Right.
And it'd be an extra tenner if you want a tray on the bottom, which I don't see
Right.
it. Your one
Mm-hmm.
is 280, including
Right. Okay.
tax. So take your 10% off that, 28 quid off. So yeah, that's not too bad a saving actually. So that's
No,
down
that's right.
to 250,
Yeah.
250. So with
And honestly,
10% off, yeah, but
yeah,
210, 250 roughly, isn't
that's
it?
it. But the thing is, I think with a lot of people say to me about it, I say, oh, they're a lot of money, and I've got this one and it works fine. If it works for you, that's absolutely great and it's fine. It's just that, you know, you tend to get people, and I've been into people's studios and it's like a dust magnet absolutely everywhere, and they're just spraying down next to them and all the rest of it. And I often think it's all very well wearing a mask, and I'm sure you've got a really expensive mask and it gets rid of it, but it's still in your environment and it's nice to just get it out. And for me, as a lot of you know, I've got a lot of money's worth down there, you know, with the virtual reality, with all my flight simming gear and everything else I got down there. If I didn't have those, they wouldn't be in here, because I know they would just break with all the dust and crap getting into them. The cameras as well. I know a lot of people are saying about the camera equipment. You know, I know people who've got normal cameras and they have trouble with, you know, dust getting in the sensors and stuff like that. To this day, I've never had a problem like that. All the cameras work absolutely fine. And to be honest, they don't even have dust caps on them, because there isn't that much actually environmentally going around the place, and that's all down to a good spray booth. So if you ever get nagged as well by family members about smell and dust, trust me, you buy a spray booth, use it properly, i.e. spray at it, not just in the room and hope it sucks it out, then you'll be absolutely fine. But as I say, next, after Telford, I'm going to have a word with Graphic Air. We're going to try and work something out. They do another version of mine, I don't know if you've still got it there, Steve, but they do a bigger version of that that's slightly bigger, but then it'll screw it all up. Because a bit like monitors, you want them to sort of be the same size. If you've got one bigger, it's not going to work as well. But they do another one, I think it's about 500 quid, and it's a third larger than that again. But I'm thinking just two next to each other would be really nice, and we'll make a custom type of cabinet for it, so the lighting and the cameras and everything can come in. I did even contemplate three, having them, instead of portrait, having, landscape, having them portrait, i.e. put them on their end and doing it, and then working a way of getting it out. And this time we're going to vent through the floor, because under here there's another room, and then that can go through there and then out the wall, and everything else. So we'll do it that way.
I'm going to say, because they do one where you're similar kind of spray booth to yours, but it's up above at an angle like that.
Yeah.
So you could have some. They may even be able to do you a case where you had that one up there, and then have one there as well.
Yeah.
So then you've got pulling it up from the top and the bottom. That could be work quite well.
Because my options are, now we're turning this into an airbrush show. Originally, because obviously my computer setup, now I've got this curved monitor you saw in yesterday's show, which I'm now completely sold on. And I think if you had two, that'd be absolutely gorgeous. Because, and also when you sit there, you know, it's in your peripheral vision. If you're gaming and stuff like that, it's absolutely lovely for it. But it's very relaxing. It's not like you've got eyes, and it's not like when I was running separate monitors, you found yourself looking like this. But what I'm thinking is, if you had three, so you have one like this, one slightly in and one in as well, that way everything's being diverted, and then we'll have a hood on it which pulls everything physically in, and the cameras will be in it. Okay, and we can do it that way. So we have the lighting and the cameras and everything physically in the booth. Because it's wider, I can get them in from each side, for instance, coming inwards. Okay, and doing things like that. And because you've got that natural sweep, it's making a natural sort of spray booth with it. And we have got the room to do it, just I don't want to really buy three of them. I could buy another one, just have two at an angle and run it that way. But then again, I want to be spraying straight into the center mass of the filter rather than at something that isn't absorbing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it says. I never knew that. The reason mine can go on its back and face upwards like that, so it comes down. So you can put, if you're doing artwork, stuff like that, you can actually rest it on the filter and then use an aerosol to spray onto.
Yeah, spray directly onto it.
Yeah, I never knew that. That's quite a good idea, actually.
It is. The trouble is, when you spray like an aerosol onto filters, you fill the filter within one use. Because I must admit, I don't know if you guys remember, when I was doing the space shuttle, I did stand it here and sprayed the first coat on there and killed my filter in one pass. And it just went solid in one hit. It's like, stuff that. So I took it outside, hung it up in the carport that we've got, and then sprayed it like that wearing a mask instead. So it didn't ruin my filters. But yeah, from that point of view, I think that's what it is. But I do see a lot of people, and I watched a few people online, and you know, there they are. They've got their their item and they're like this, and you've got a spray booth here and they're like spraying down the side of them, and then they come out, and I'm thinking, well, if your spray booth's here and it's on and running, but you're spraying at the floor over there, that isn't going to work. Yeah, so you should be spraying directly into it. That way it all just goes in and out. But spraying it at the floor is like, what the hell's that all about? That's a waste of time. Anyway, all good. So, so there we go. That was Chris. Thank you, Chris. Right, this is Brett. Sorry, Donald. Oh, sorry, Don. That's it. Hi, everyone. Have you ever given any thought to having a what? Periodic build and review segment dedicated to older classic kits? I know you'd be the only one, I'm not the only one, with more than a few old Rebel monogram and other tester kits sitting in the stash. I would love to see your approach of solving the problems of these less than ideal older kits. Yeah, that is it. This has come up a few times, and it comes into the category of a dog of a kit. He says, I know you've mentioned a couple of times your desire to build an F101 Voodoo. Why not take a crack at the monogram version, raised panel lines and all? I think that Edard makes the photo etch upgrade for it, and I'm sure you could turn something special before our eyes. Just a thought. Thanks. P.S. I'm excited to see the A4 Skyhawk will be coming up soon. Thanks for including it in your short list of projects. No problem. Yeah, it's true, and it might be something I'll do, because I'll be honest, I do have that kit. I have the Monogram Century series of kits upstairs. Yeah, the one you get the patch. You remember the ones? If you guys are old enough to know this, but they used to actually come with a patch in the sort of, I think it was the 80s. You got the patch saying Century Series. Is it up there? I'll put it up there. No, it's not there. But yeah, and I have said that I would go back. And to be honest, I always find the Century Series of kits are really nicely done. The detail in the cockpit is absolutely crazy for its age. It'll give a run for the money of any modern kit, really. It's just I was hoping that, you know, modern kits, modern manufacturers, they would redo a good one. But yeah, it is that thing. I would like to have a crack at something like it where we can re-scribe, re-rivet and completely go to town to it. If it'll be a Voodoo or not, I don't know. I'd say I have got them all upstairs. I'll have to have a look through and see what we can do. But maybe something for next year, doing something like that. What are you looking at? Are you queuing something up?
I am indeed, yeah.
Oh, I thought you might be. So yeah, and Skyhawk definitely. As I say, doing this one, and then I'm going to run through all the others between now and whenever we finish. But they're my next load of kits to do, and obviously I'll be chucking in other stuff, armour and various bits and pieces, interspersed it as we go. So yes, but yeah, definitely, I can see your point. Let's say I'll pick something. I've always fancied doing a Hustler, to be honest, rescribing one of them and then doing it in metal. The 48 version.
That. Yeah, that'd be. Where would you put that though? You'd have to hang it from the ceiling of wall mount or something.
To be honest, the thing with that one is that what was the model shop called? Up in you guys who live near me will probably know it, but there used to be a model shop up in Barnstable, North Devon, and they used to have a load of stuff hanging from the ceiling. And three kits always stood out to me because he had, it must have been the old Monogram 48 scale B52 hanging up there, and that's a monster. He had the B1 hanging up there. He had the Mosquito in 32nd, and also he had the 48th Monogram. Horribly done. They were awful. Whoever put them together was like, you know, Stevie Wonder's blind assistant. It was horrendous because the joins were nasty. But yeah, they were. It's one of those things as a kid though. I was looking up at them and thinking, I'd love to build one of them one day, you know. And then realization is you've got nowhere to put it. So yes, but yeah, we will sort something out definitely. Okay, so and Harry says, hi Phil, another question on the Ducati 1199 on the pipes to do the heat marks. I see you use Tamiya weathering powders. I would like to know a little more. I would like a little more color variation. Would you use the AK Valerius MRPs, blue, golds and purples, or Winsor & Newton inks? And I take it you got something in your hand, have you?
I have, yeah. That's what I got. Yeah, I've got, well, one colour you can get is Alclad basically do a range of them, which I use quite often on jets. They've got the pale burnt metal, which is a really nice goldy colour. That's quite nice. But then they do hot metal colours, which is a clear colour, which I've got hot metal red, blue, so you can mix them together as well, so you get that purpley colour. I know you can buy the purples. You've got one that's green, so you can have even a little hint of green in there, and that's for heat stains and Lexan tints. So that's, but yeah, you're using your clear colours. You don't really want to be going down a solid colour like a blue or anything. You need your transparent colours, and I know other companies do all these hot metal colours, but that's why you want to think about getting in a bottle like these bottles. I'll probably never finish using it, just last and last and last. But you could also use it actually for a gloss coat. So yeah, so that's what the sort of stuff you want to look at. Don't know if MRP do them.
Funny enough, you say that. Hold on, coming back.
You've got some, yeah.
Yeah, hold on. I have them here as well. So, hold on. Let me do that. Change camera angle. Look, when I get my new little thing, we'll be alright with this. Right. Okay. So what I've got here is what Steve had, which are these two, isn't it? Are they the two you had?
Yeah.
Hot metal thingies. I used these on something. I just can't remember what. So those, but yeah, MRP do these. I don't know if they do any more, but we've got burnt metal blue and burnt metal violet. And
the violet,
they are. It's not like a clear. It's actually got a metal colour in it. I haven't used them, but they do look very, very nice. But yeah, these are designed for burnt metal blue. So I don't know if you can just spray it neat and you get this colours, or you use it as a hue. As you say, I've never tried it, so I'm not sure what they're like, but I did see them and I thought it was quite nice because you get that sort of violet colour. It's what you see on motorbikes, and that sort of, you know, that burnt blue. To be honest, this is really quite sad, but I was out with Mr. Buller actually on Sunday for lunch, and there was a motorbike sat at the lights outside the window. I was looking at it, and he had the most gorgeous blue and violet colours on that exhaust. So I know what he's getting at. So, but these might be worth a shout as well. It depends if you want to go down the thing of painting it in the metal colour first, and then highlighting with these guys, and you can just then build up your different hue of the red, and then obviously of the blues. Or if you just, I think, want to go straight in with it and go onto it on top. But your MRP on that one is 115, 116. I don't know if they do any others. I just saw these when I was getting a load and thought they looked very nice, so we'd give them a whirl.
I'd probably spray them over them, you know, put your base
the metal
on first. Yeah, just mist it on gently. But I know people use pastels as well. Yeah, I suppose you could use oil paint. It'd have to be teeniest little speck and blend it in. But I think if you invest in a couple of bottles, like I say, you'll only ever buy one bottle. It'll just last and last.
To be honest, these came out about 10 years ago now. Come on, camera. No? No, there we go. Yeah, these came out. This is what I used for that particular one. And to be honest, this is just makeup. I'm pretty sure you could just go and buy a cheap makeup kit from Poundland, you know, or your dollar store, and it'll do exactly the same thing. But Tammy will probably charge you like a tenner for it. But yeah, so all you've got is this sort of blue, which is like a metallic blue, a metallic sort of bronze colour, and this is just a default sort of dark dirt colour. And you can sort of rub it on, and it does work well, and it is pretty easy to do it. You just do, I think this is the one I used during the video, but you literally, it comes with a little brush, and you can just literally applicate it on, you smudge it on, and you blend it, and away you go. And it does work a treat, there's no problem to it. Personally, this is great for sort of a speed thing, and for a non-mess type thing. You know, to do something like that, it's no problem at all. But I think if you was to be doing it, like you wanted to do a proper effect, like a big piece of bluing, like that exhaust I was looking at on that bike, the entire bit was blue basically, the first 2/3 of the rear box, and then it went into the purples and then back to metal near the actual exhaust itself. So you've got that sort of nice thing, but you wouldn't want to do a big area with these because I don't think it gives a universal colour. But if you're doing just like in a bend area, you can actually just put the blue in, then the goldy bit sort of in the middle to do that sort of different heat type things. So small things, yes, but if you were doing big things, then I'd probably go down these routes and try and do it.
Yeah, I'm sure we're Alclad do quite a few different colours now.
Yeah. I don't know if MRP do anymore. It's just they're the ones I saw. But also, I think the AK do some as well. Here we go.
Yeah.
Look, I have them here. So you've got metallic. You've got a few options with these guys as well. If you wanted to go down these route, so you've got a metallic purple. So we're saying the purple colours again, and then we've got the blue. So AK do them. So your AK numbers, if you want to go down this route, is 674 and 487 for the metallic blue. And then their stainless colour is very bluified as well. If you want to do a light type of thing, then just their normal stainless steel is extremely blue. You can see the blue off the top there. It is very bluey. But yeah, they do them purples and blues as well, just for your metallics. But again, this isn't just a blue colour. This has actually got a metallic in it. So it's more akin to these guys than the other two, than your actual, these ones. So there we go.
I've got to say Mig will do it as well, because I'm all by Mig. They teamed up with Alclad, didn't they? So
that's right, yeah, they
I think
the same.
Yeah.
Everybody will do it.
Yeah.
It just depends what you get on with. But as you say, from a point of view, like we're saying with that one, if you're going to go for that nice big bluing effect, then yeah, spray it on. Don't try the powders. These things are more akin to little tiny jobs, makeup jobs, things like that. Very simple, easy job. But if you're going for a full-on effect, then yeah, I'd probably go down those routes. Okay, so, and sorry, where are we? Oh, hold on. Wrong screen. Okay. Oh dear, look, perfect plastic putty. Okay, so this is Ray. Hi Phil. I'm new here, that would explain it. And have loved the site and the whole community. Thanks for all you do for us. Welcome very much, no problem, Ray. Just a question, having ever come across the Deluxe Materials Perfect Plastic Putty? See image below. I came across it. Can't for the life of me remember where. I found a supplier here in Oz. So far I'm over the moon with it because it goes on well, easy, no mess, no fuss, and it's water soluble, so cleaning afterwards is a doddle. Thanks again for all your super work, Ray. Yes, have you got one in your hand?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh right, I thought you would.
No. No.
Do you mean, hold on, I've got loads of them. These! So these are what we're talking about. Put it on the other ones. These are great, no problem with them at all. But I must admit, I have moved away from using your traditional putties. I prefer to use my homebrew stuff than this stuff. With all putties, the drawback to it is one, curing time. Secondly, is shrinkage. Thirdly, is trying to rescribe over it. And this stuff is very, very good because it's got very low shrinkage. It doesn't shrink as much as perhaps your traditional putties do and all the rest of it. It dries pretty quick as well. And you say it's water soluble, so cleaning up really is a doddle because you can do little techniques like if you wet a cotton bud and wipe it over it, you can smooth it out, no problem at all. The drawback to this is when it dries, it's almost chalky. So when you scribe over it, you can carve it. It doesn't like to be scribed properly. So if you use it on a wing join, it can be quite soft and you can push a big hole in. Or if you're doing riveting, you're going over it and using the same pressure and you get to this stuff and suddenly you've made a massive trench and stuff like that. So I sort of moved away from this when I started playing with our homebrew filler, which is made of styrene, which there's videos all about it. We spoke about it a million times before, okay? So from that point of view, yes. But it was the staple putty, wasn't it, that we all used for quite a while, yeah. I think.
It's got its uses. I'll show you, like, if I'm looking easy to explain using the old buster. Like at the base of the tail, that little joint in there, or like in the wing roots, it's brilliant just getting in there because you can pop it in, get your cotton bud, wet it, and then just wipe it, and it fills beautifully. And it saves having to try and get in there with a sander, so little jobs like that I'll use it, but for every other sim I use the old melted styrene filler, you know, your homebrew stuff. But it does have its uses.
Yeah, like everything, I think you know, the great thing about this stuff is that it enables you to be able to use it in certain scenarios where damage is going to be a problem. So if you were using it in somewhere which is really difficult to get in and clean up, so for instance, if you were doing something like a ship and you had a wooden deck and you don't want to fill it up with filler and it's going to be really difficult to get in there with a sanding stick, the great thing with this is you can put it in there, get it all in there, then clean up with wet, and you can water it, and you can thin this stuff down just with water, so it enables it to go in very easily. Okay, but just watch yourself with shrinkage with it, because it has got a bit of a nasty habit of shrinking back on itself after a bit of time. But the main trouble I had with it was that it's quite a soft material. It's not like your true sort of lacquer based fillers and stuff like that, which once they go off they go like rock hard. This always tends to be quite soft, so you just have to be a little bit mindful of where you've used it. So perhaps if you then primer over the top, you can't see where it is, just remember it when you come to scribe to it, otherwise you're suddenly going to go along and then drop in, because it is quite soft stuff. But from a point of view of cleanup, I know loads of guys, like Steve was saying, you do it on the edge of the tails, you've got it, squirt it in there, made a mess, and then just smooth it out nicely with a wet cotton bud, and you'll get a very smooth, nice, easy finish with it. So yeah, definitely has its place. I would still use it if I was in a tricky spot, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's worth having a bottle in.
Yeah, that's it. I must admit, the only thing I had, and we showed it on a live show months ago now, but I got one out to show, and it had gone rock hard, and I'd never opened it. It had turned completely solid. Obviously, there was a leak somewhere, and it had just turned to a complete solid brick, and we cut it up after the show, and it was actually a lump of it. So yeah, not really good.
It does. I found once you've opened it, after a few months, it does start going rock hard in the middle.
Yeah,
so it's got a shelf life. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Randall says, hi Finn and Steve, thank you for your informative videos. I enjoy all that your posts. I really like the aeroplane kits you have chosen for some of your future builds. I'm thinking out of the box with just a few aftermarket items and a lot of model builders. Sorry, I think building out of the box and just a few aftermarket items reflects, a lot of us model builders. I look for a good kit to start with, usually with and add some PE cockpit set and a resin seat if necessary. To be honest, that's my philosophy to it right the way through. This keeps the hobby, my hobby budget, to a dull raw. Sorry, yeah. I read that and thought, does that, eh? Yeah, adds a lot of detail from where it counts. As I always say, it's bang for the buck. Spend the money where it's going to be seen the most. So I always say, colour photo etch cockpit and an ejection seat in an aircraft, that's always going to be the money place. No question today, however, I would like to give a shout out to the great service at Models Are Go. After watching for a few months, they've got the F-clamps back in the infantry. My shipping order disappeared into the abyss, lost forever. After contacting John, mailed out a new order, no charge next day, which I received 10 days later. Great customer service. Thanks again for your great site. No problem. To be honest, I've ordered something from them as well. Something I've been saying about I'll do for ages, and I was having a look around their site like you do yesterday, and I thought, it's back in stock, so I've got one coming. And I'll tell you what it is, because now I've got one before they sell out. You know, we've got these scrapers, the Alex scrapers.
Yeah.
I've bought the one which looks a bit like a melon scoop gone wrong. It's like a starfish, but it's got balls on the end.
All right.
Then my thinking was I could use it for scraping out internal joints. So anything that's got like a slight divot in. So I'm thinking like wing roots where you've got fuselage and into tight areas, because I used to use I've got a couple of blades with curves on, but at the end, actually I've got one, it's like it curves back on itself, and I've gone in there and scraped out. Actually, I think I used it for the 190 build and things like that, but I've been wanting to get one, and I saw he had it in stock, so it's 15 quid, but they are worth the money. So I've now got them all. So I've now got one that's like a ninja star coming on my way. But he was out of stock of this one though, that's the only trouble. Because the thing is, the reason I went there is that one of you guys asked me where I got them all from. So I went over to his to send you the link, and it's out of stock, which is the one with the little curves in, which is this guy. Don't ask me for the part number, it wore off a long time ago. But it's this one. So I use this one, and when the new one turns up, I'll do a review on it and I can show you. But I know they're away beginning of the week, so.
I know which one you mean. It's the F-V6 seam scraper that you've ordered.
Has it? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I'm glad you
You know,
know.
my extensive knowledge of,
That's brilliant.
scrapers,
And part numbers is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So yes. And to be honest, a couple of people have asked me, because I get the same question asked like every week, where do we get these from? That's it. Models Are Go have them back in stock. Before, what happened was they were readily available worldwide, and then that was it. The company made them or distributed them went. But Models Are Go, with the kind support of one of our members and that, managed to get them remanufactured and made, and you can get them now through Models Are Go, and they're on their homepage. So go and have a look at them. The best clamp you can ever spend a £5 on, trust me.
Then again, yours could be the R-V6. If it's the rounded bits, it's the R-V6.
It's the rounded one I've gone for. It
Yeah.
looks like discs on the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. I bet John can't get enough of the round ones. You know, they call it the R-Boko seam scraper. It's just fantastic. And I bet he just gets them and they're straight out. But he has got quite a few in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, go and have a look at Models Are Go if you want to check them out. This has
got some nice scribers in as well. You know, the like claw ones.
Yeah, which
like
these ones.
Talons. Yeah, they're really nice actually.
The lethal, which are these ones.
He's got all the templates in. So yeah, he's got.
Yeah, so this is it. This is the Holly scriber. So this is the 0.15. I know it's got the different things, but it's got a tiny little tick on it here. It's lethal, absolutely lethal. This will do the finest lines you can ever rescribe anywhere. In some ways, maybe a little bit too fine, but definitely well worth having one in. Perhaps go for the slightly thicker ones if I would, though, if I was to be honest. That one is so fine, it's lethal.
Yeah, it does a 0.15, which is sold out, a 0.1 and a 0.2.
Yeah. I think the 0.2 would probably be fine. This is the 0.15. It's very, very fine. I have got another one. I don't know what size that one is. Where's my other one? Somewhere. I don't know what I've done with it now. No, sorry. I've moved it. Or I've lost it. One or the other. But yeah, I had two. I think the other one was a little bit wider. Okay, Gary says, hi Phil and Steve, just wanted to ask if you guys are using the Mr. Paints more in your builds. I have been purchasing them over the last couple of weeks and have found them to be the best out there and really a joy to use. At the moment I won't be giving up my other paints like Tamiya, Vallejo, yet are working on that part. Good luck enjoying the show, Gary. Yeah, I must admit I'm sold. I love them. Again, it's just one of those things. It's not like I'm just totally sold on them because, as I say, I've been doing a couple of other bits and pieces and I've been using Tamiya and Vallejo as well. So I don't think it's one of those where I would completely dump everything and just use those, because like everything, they all have their place. So if you're doing something a little bit more heavy duty, shall we say, acrylics I think are a little bit easier, nicer to use. But for general painting, modelling wise and stuff like that, it really is nice stuff to use. And as I say, using their metallics is a joy and a doddle as well as any other paint. And I must admit, they've got some really cool colours in there I'd love to have a go at. And obviously this will be using MRP paints as well when we get around to doing this one. So that's why I want to do it in camo, just so I can have a go with their paints again. Talking
of which, a couple of weeks ago, one of the guys on the forum mentioned about paint shakers. For that, and I ordered one, if you remember, online, and I'll switch cameras, and I've now got it, and it's brilliant for mixing up MRP paints.
So Steve's got his very own vibrator.
Right, here we go. Let's see if that works. It should switch if you just bear with us.
Hold on. He's still there. Give him a sec. Here he comes.
Here comes. It's coming. There we go. There you are.
He's got the Lady Shaker 5000.
It is. There we go. That's better. So there you go. And it works a treat. It's about 23 quid posted.
Yeah.
And all you do is just simple as put your bottle on there, pull the strap over and it hooks on, and press the button and away it goes. And
that's right, keep it going because we can see how long it takes the pigment at the bottom to shift.
Yeah, it takes after about a minute it's mixed perfectly. And every bottle I've tried, all the different paints, all fit. You get replacement rubber bands to go on it. But it's good because it's shaking it, but it's also kind of going slightly up and down.
Yeah.
They recommend, for a hobbyist, it's fine because we're not going to be using it all the time. But obviously, for nail salons, they say don't use it all the time. But yeah, it works a treat.
Very good.
And there's no way would I be able. You'd have to spend about 5 minutes checking it as good as this would. It's you just leave it and away it goes.
There we go, guys. Remember, that's what your lady needs at home. She'll be thrilled when you buy that for Christmas, and then you can pinch it. Say, look, love, I bought you a nail polish shaker, and she'll go, oh, that's brilliant, thanks. And then you can then pinch it when she like bins it off to one side, and you know she'll never know she lost it. Then all you do is put a Flory Models sticker over their sticker, and she'll never know she even had one. Ah, see, thinking ahead to Christmas gifts for your partner.
But that should be perfectly mixed now.
Right, let's have a look at the bottom of it then.
Still a bit left on there, but if you look inside, it'd be all mixed up nicely. But I've never found it gets everything perfectly off the bottom when you shed these. But the paint's all nicely. But I'd leave it a bit longer myself. But yeah, it mixes nicely. But yeah, you just leave it on there for probably a minute, 2 minutes, and you know.
So what's its name? Because we did give its product name out. Are you recommending this thing?
To be honest, I'd say it's really, really good. It's Decal. There you go. I'll just see that.
Yeah.
The Decal nail lacquer shaker.
Very good.
But yeah.
And what batteries does it take?
It's mains. It comes with a mains sleeve.
Oh right, it's mains. Oh right.
And battery as well. So it's both. The only thing is, it takes a European adapter plug, so I had to buy one of them. But I know somebody said theirs came with a normal UK one, so it depends who you get it from. But yeah, it does it. I haven't tried it with the AK, but it should. That fits as well, and away it goes.
Yeah. So it all fits on there, all of them. It's not like there's one that you haven't found fits yet.
I've tested every bottle, even Vallejo's metal colour, and everything fits on there.
Well, I think the extreme bottles are the biggest that are in the range anyway, isn't it? I think they're the biggest one. So if that fits, everything will fit.
Yeah, that's nice. Interior bronze green, so that's mixed up really nice. To be honest, for 20 quid, you know, even if it lasts a year, it's mixing your paint better than you could.
Well, yeah, it saves you, like, you know, wrist action.
Well, you can just
I'm doing this with you. If I was doing this on the live show with the lads, nobody would be able to give a straight face.
No, they won't. No, they won't. And I know what they'd be saying. And
well, this is it. But you won't catch me going down that route.
No. Yeah, I am actually quite impressed with it. I know, like, for your model colour paints, these are a nightmare to shake and get all mixed up. And again, you put it on here for 30 seconds or so, and it's mixed it up beautifully.
And the nice thing with that, it's all clean as well, because the drawback to my one of having a manual mixer is that I'm sure it'll probably do it quicker, but then you've got the clean up afterwards. Where at least with yours, that's it, you know? So, you know, you just unscrew it and the job's done.
Yeah, that should be all perfectly mixed. I don't know if this is a dodgy ball, I've got them all mixed up, but yeah, see, that's all mixed up now. Ooh, we're on that camera, aren't we?
Where are we down here?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's all mixed up nicely.
Very good.
So yeah, for the price, it's well worth the money, I think.
And it's nice it's mains, because mains is so much better, because let's face it, every time you do it, if it wasn't mains, you'd have a flat battery.
Of course you would, yeah.
So being mains, you don't have that trouble.
And you know, you look at it, even with skinny little model air bottles, you know, you just use a different hole and it'll fit. So, and it'll probably shed this a lot better with it being lighter.
Yeah.
So it'd be no more putting your little bolts into your bolt. Well, you could do an agitator.
Well, yeah, I suppose it just doubles it up then, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah. But that'll be perfect now for that.
Very good. Excellent.
Yeah, so I'd recommend you you get one. You can get them on, I know Amazon sell them, eBay, probably pick them up in your town centre at various shops or other. But yeah, for less than £25. Yeah. It's probably, won't surprise you, it's probably the same kind of motor.
Yeah. That's it.
You know, there's somebody's, but yeah, you can't go wrong. And if you're going anywhere, just put batteries in it if you know.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you just haven't got anywhere near the mains or anything. So yeah, very good.
Yeah, you'll have to get yourself filled.
Yes. I can see myself. Can I have a vibrator, please? Does it come in plain packaging? Discreet packaging. Right, moving on. Right, so who is this? This is who is this? Jan. It says hi, Phil and Steve. Sorry, did I miss one?
No.
Mr. Paint, more in builds. Yeah, no, we're right. Because that was Gary. So seeing where we are. Down the bottom. Hi, Phil and Steve. Yeah. First off, I'd like to say thank you to you both for your dedication to this hobby and helping out people in the hobby. It's a true treat to be part of this e-hobby club. Is that what we are? An e-hobby club now? That's quite a good one. I have learned so much from you both and other members already. I still have a long way to go. I have a question for you both. First off, for Steve, do you have any advice on putting on link and length tracks on armour? I have several 1/72 Revel kits of modern German tanks and have this feature and looking for any pointers about installing them and weathering them.
Yeah, with them kind, even though it's meant to be, you know, really amateurish to do it, I'd spray your tracks first while they're still on the sprue. Again, my preferred method is using something like Flat Earth, Tamurex F52. Start with an earth colour and then dab on, if you've got a bit of sponge, dab on some other rust colours over the tracks. And then it gives you that nice basis for your track. Then what you need, obviously, after you've removed them from the sprue, you need to glue them to each wheel. So you need to put all your wheels on, all the running gear, and then glue the tracks as you're going along. So you put your length at the bottom. Follow it in the instructions because there'll be a certain way of doing it. Usually your length's at the bottom, usually links then to go around the sprocket and the idler. So once you've got them all on, weathering, really you want to start here and put some washers on. So kind of use, if you're using maybe a rust wash to start with, some dark brown wash first, but then give them the same wash like you would for the wheels. You kind of your earth tones, your sand tones, dust kind of washers. Also hit it with pigments, and then once you've got it all done, looking good, the final thing you do is take a graphite pencil and just go over some of the raised details and just gently rub the graphite along it, and it'll give it an appearance of polished metal, so it looks as though the track's been in contact with stone and it's just polished it up, or when it's on gravel or even in sand, they really are polished, heavily polished then. So yeah, that's the way I'd do it. But just take your time, and you have to glue each bit as you go around. It just makes it a lot easier.
Definitely. Right, okay, so second one is for me. Recently you've mentioned during one of your live shows that particular types of metal colour, i.e. e.g. titanium, looks different from different manufacturers. Since you have the Vallejo, AK and now MRP paint colours, would it be possible to make with swatches with different colours, so the rest of us can see the difference from which ones to obtain to obtain for any given project? Thanks again for all your hard work. Yes, yeah, probably. When I next get some spraying on the go, what I'll do is I'll do it. What we were talking about was when you take different manufacturers, titanium's a classic example, because on this guy down here, this is one of these bits, is titanium on the top of this one. This cuts in, come on, this is titanium colour all on the top of his arm. And the thing is that when you look at it, some of them have sort of different goldy colour type effects to it. So some of the titaniums tend to be quite goldy, some of them seem to be quite silvery, some of them sort of have a more graphite colour, and they all have slightly different hues and different ways of doing it, because obviously the 4 titaniums I use a lot is actually, I quite like Tamiya Acrylics titanium. That's actually quite a nice colour. The AK one obviously we use down on here, we use the MRP one as well, and normal Vallejo colours as well, but they've all got a slightly different hue in there, and it's something I've noticed that when you line them all up next to each other and you look at them and you're thinking, well that says it's titanium, yeah, I tried it and it was like the wrong colour, too light, too dark, whatever, because I'm used to it being a certain other way. So what I'll do is I'll put some swatches together and we can have a look at the differences between them all. So yeah, definitely something I can sort out for you on that one.
But it's a good thing, you know, like if you're doing olive drab and you just, the whole plane's olive drab.
Yeah.
Say, for example, buy a bottle of the Guns' stuff and a bottle of Tamiya's, because they've got to be different shades because of how they see them. So use both of them and then you get different shades of olive drab on your model.
Yeah, you get a sort of more realistic effect of the different hues and shades. Yeah, definitely. Okay, Peter says, hi Phil, what's your review on the AMK kit? I have never built a non-US aircraft, so I figured this would be a good starting point. I ordered the kit from eBay along with the upgrade kit that include the additional PE and the white metal gear, landing gear. To be honest, I felt kind of dirty ordering a Soviet aircraft. Laugh out loud. It was a beer-induced purchase, though, so it wasn't my fault. The thing is with the Russian stuff, it's great because when you come to doing weathering, there is no rules to Russian stuff. My question is to you: what MRP paint would you use for this kit? I have found a source for MRP paint here in Canada, and I'd figure I'd give them a try. Appreciate all your hard work, Phil. You've been doing a great job with what Steve says. Laugh out loud. Right, Steve, can you pop over to MRP and check it? Because I've got it, but I don't know what they are off the top of my head. They actually... I'm just trying to see if I can see the labels from here. My eyesight isn't that good, clearly. Harrier, 22s, 23s, 34s, 32s, 27s. Right, okay. Overall coat is what they call traffic grey, MiG-31 traffic grey, which is MRP 189, is the grey colour for the overall of it, according to them. That's the thing. Is that just the overall colour for it? I think it might be. 23s. The thing is with MRP, it's written on all the bottles what it is. But if you don't know, you have to look at every bottle to make sure, because that's how we got caught with the MiG-29s, because MiG-29s has got 2-3 different versions of it. But that's what they're giving for the covers. So that's this one, which obviously it'll need a damn good mix up because, as we said, it needs Steve Shaker. But this is what they call overall coat for the MiG-31. So it is MRP 189 is the grey colour for the external. Now internally, it depends how far you want to go with this, because they do, I'd say, internal wheel well colours you can get for it. I think you get the radome colours, you can get all the different bits and pieces, but without having a good dig over it. But that's the one you want, is that one there. Found anything, Steve?
I'm still looking.
Right.
Right. What's going on with this? Oh, there we go. Aircraft. Russian.
I think if you wanted to do them all, as I say, because the greens and that you can get away with using other things. If you've got other greens floating around, you can do everything. But for instance, like the cockpit colour, if you wanted to do is MRP1, because it's that turquoise interior colour. So that's the same for the MiG-23s, 25s, 31s, Mi-24s. Yeah, so that's all of those ones, and then
no, it's MiG-29.
Yeah, that's all the 27s down there. That's all super clears. Yeah, that'll be your overall colour anyway. It's all right. I'll leave Steve to do that, and I'll just do.
Yeah,
the next one.
it is, isn't it? It's just that overall grey colour, isn't it?
It is the overall grey, is obviously that one. But as I said, if you did want to go for the entire thing, then that turquoise colour's a real nice one. Okay, Ant says 148th GR4 decal disaster. Okay, so sorry, it's Tony, not Ant. Hi Phil, I've been completing my tornado this week, and it is in the fantastic RAF 2 Squadron 100th anniversary scheme using extra decals X48113 anniversary sheet from 2012. Everything went smoothly till I masked up the spine to spray the airframe with TS79 semi-gloss clear to tone it down. I'd sprayed the whole model with X22 for decaling and gave the spine another 2 coats after the decals were applied. When I removed the masking tape, second to none has vanished. I bet it hasn't, I bet it's stuck to your tape.
Oh, it will be, yeah.
Not laughing, honest, we've all been here. This is why, in some ways, it's nice to see everyone else does it. Right, how many times have you seen me do the tape rub? So, you have your tape, and before you stick it to your model, you'll see me, unless I'm being really brave or I'm testing it, I will do the back of the hand trick. And what you're doing is you're picking up skin cells, as horrible as it sounds, and oil off the skin. So you just rub it over your hand first, then you put it on. Because if you don't, and you put it on, and you make that fatal mistake as well as rubbing it in, you can rip it off, because the decal is going to be the weak layer. So you can put 3 or 4 heavy duty coats over it to put it down, but if it hasn't adhered properly underneath there, it's going to be the weak link, and when you tear, it's going to lift the decal, it's going to come away. It's a bit like super gluing something onto a painted surface. It will literally just rip it off down to bare plastic, okay, because there's no grip at that actual level. So what you have to do, and I know this is great to say after you've done it, but is detack your tape before you come along. So detack it, and then, as I say, I will do it until it hardly sticks, and then that way you know you're safe. So when you come along to your model and you're putting this stuff on and you can push it in, you can push it quite firmly because there's not enough bite, and when you peel it off there's just enough to hold it in place but not enough to stick it down, if that makes any sense, and that way you'll stop it getting underneath and all those things. But unfortunately we've all done it. If we're honest, I think we've all been there, and we've made this type of thing. He goes, I did note that the extra decals were very thin and came off the backing sheet with barely a look of any water. Does this mean that the glue was poor? After a good 2 coats of X22 on top, the spine of the decal, I'm wondering, experience anything? To be honest, is what we're saying. We had this actually a question that was asked to me last week, and somebody said about thin decals, are they rubbish? Technically, the thinner the decal, the better they are, because they adhere better and they leave you less step. Like the ones on the from Hasegawa, they are really horrible because they're really thick and you get a big step where they are and they go down. So the thinner they are, theoretically, the better they are. But you're always going to have that, they are the weak link, because it is a thin, clear layer over the top of something else. So at the end of the day, it's pure care. You just need to detack your tape before you put it on, because decals are always going to be your weakest link with it. And I'm sure Steve will know when he's doing weathering of armour and stuff like that, you just have to be a bit careful where the decals are, because if you scrap it too hard or rub it too hard, you're going to rip it. Even though it's been bedded down of what you think is under a cover of a couple of coats or something, it's still not going to be perfectly underneath that thing, and that is what can happen. He goes on to say, where the decals not properly stuck down due to the inadequate glue, or did I do something wrong? Is it possible the decals didn't stick properly to the model, but the X28 did, and then it just pulled off the surface? That's what it's done. I never encountered this before. I'm gutted. I have to buy another decal sheet to fit this. Luckily, there's still lots available, but I don't want to make the same mistake in the future. Any advice would be appreciated. Yeah, we've all done it, Tony. It's one of those things. Afterwards, you just kick yourself thinking like, you numpty. Many a time I've done that thing where you've stuck it on and then I thought, oh Jesus, you wait, it's going to come off with it because I've forgotten about it or something else like that. So when you're pulling it as well, you're pulling it off, just take your time and very slowly do it as you're pulling it off. Don't just like, you know, pull it off. Take your time peeling it, rolling it very slowly, and that can stop the problem as well. But yeah, I've done something extremely similar to that on an F18 once, and that was a real nightmare because it's custom decals, and I masked it up to do a little bit of post shading onto it, and I just stuck it on the side, didn't even wrap it over, just on the side like that, and I actually put my hat finger on it. I remember doing it, and then afterwards, yeah, sure enough, took the decal with it. Not good.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where you have to, if you can find a way where you don't have to put tape over a decal, do it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can just use, you know, get the old buster again. You know, make sure there's no on it. Like, you can always get just a little bit of paper, push it right up against it, and then quick spray. You know, if you can, or if you need to, and it just. Or you know, like if you're doing that again for the whole spine, I'd probably put the masking tape over the grey, you know, put the varnish on it. Yeah. You know, try and find a way where you're avoiding putting any tape near your decals.
It's a bit like the same type of environment. It's when you're doing decals, is doing metal finishes, because you don't really want to overcoat or stick stuff onto metal finishes because you might either peel it off or leave glue behind or whatever it is. So that's why I always tend to do metallizer finishes last. So like we painted that guy, it was all done, then we did the metallizers last. So I'm not actually masking the metallizer, because many a time I've peeled it off and you've either got a glue mark you can clearly see in there, and you look at your tape and you've got metallizer on here where it's taken that top layer off. And stuff like that. So it is just that thing of, you know, as you say, next time you'll know, you'll make sure you've detacked it. If you detack it enough, you'll be absolutely fine. But, you know, I wouldn't recommend doing it on your t-shirt. I will do that if it's like a wing and I just want to mask it off. I'll just do it to the t-shirt and pick up the fibres. But if you've got the fibres on and you're doing an edge, those fibres are going to hang off and it's going to give you a funny edge. So just do it on the back of your hand. Pick up the old skin cells and the oils off your hands just to knock the hell out of the tack. So it's got really no bite. And it's just finding that delicate balance between there's enough to hold it on there, you know, that stops it from peeling off, but not enough to actually grip and sort of give you any problems and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's one of those hard lessons we all learn, and it's happened to all of us, probably happened to us again. So. Oh
God, yeah, absolutely. As I say, don't be disheartened by it. It's happened to us all. We've all done it. Okay, so. Palmjet says, hi guys, booked my train tickets to Telford, so I'll see you guys there. Brilliant. Also wanted to say thank you for your Facebook, by you and the members about my uni project that I posted up back in July. Do you remember that? He asked for a project, so give him some ideas. Glad to say that I've gone ahead with the handy clamp idea. Brilliant. Can I have one then?
We'll test
prototype? And we'll be your head testers, because I think it's a great idea. And if you make millions from this, I want royalties. I either want my name on it somewhere, or just like, you know, cash.
We.
All right. I said hand. I'm getting in there first, but I'm going to do the name. I'm going to hold on. I've got to pop out and just get the name done. Handy clamp. I'm going to trademark that. You guys gave me the idea, and I will show you the progress at Telford. Brilliant.
Oh,
We're looking forward to that one. Interesting. So far, it's just research. Keep up the great work, and thanks again. Brilliant. Well, we'll see you there in a couple of weeks. Looking forward to seeing how you're getting on with that. And as you get on with it, I want to be kept in a thingy because I want to be one of the first people to use it. Okay, hi Finn and Steve. Any suggestions as to a good 148 F15 kit? I've seen the Academy one, and from reviews it looks a bit basic and nasty. So any other suggestions? Okay, well the best F15E is the Revel one. The Revel one, in my mind, is far superior to the Academy one. The detail's better, and overall it just looks like the thing. And when I used to do, normal sea eagles, I always used the Hasegawa kit. And then Aries nozzles for it are absolutely beautiful. So that was my standard thing to it. I used to use the Aries colour photo etch set, Aries ejector seats for it, and then the Aries nozzle set for it, because on those they really do look the business. So that would be my suggestion. Steve?
Yeah, I'd go with that. Though I do have the Academy, the Israeli one, and that's quite a nice looking kit. It's really F15, but yeah, the Rebel one's definitely.
Yeah, the other option is the Great Wall Hobbies one, isn't it? I haven't built that. I've reviewed it, but I've never built it. Yeah, I know they have problems with that one because they completely cocked up the back end of it, but I know they redid it and they put it right. But I don't know exactly what that kit is like. Obviously, I have built one. I built the Academy one, funnily enough. As stupid as it sounds, it's one of those things, do as they say, not as I do. But I built the Academy one, and it's okay, but it's not as good as the Hasegawa one. I prefer the Hasegawa kit. So yes. Right, Paul says, hi guys, just two quick questions. I've been having your monitor close to your work area. I would think it's big. I need to make it slightly bigger if I'm honest, because my eyes aren't there. Sorry, hold on, am I reading this right? Monitor closer to your work area. Will there be a need to cover it when you do small spraying of any models? And how, well, from that point of view, no, because what I do is when I'll be spraying, technically I can turn it around, but it won't affect it. It's not like the expensive one over there, that's further away and slightly out of the way. I certainly wouldn't have the new one next to me, put it like that when I was spraying. I'll make sure that's out of the way. But as we were saying, you should be in your spray booth anyway. So if you're in your spray booth, you'll be absolutely fine. And I know the trench run was near completion. Will you be doing it very soon? Glad to see you're a lot happier now, Phil. The recent events were all behind you. Many thanks. Yeah, the trench run, I'm going to redo it for part of the Star Wars thing at Christmas. So come December, which is only a month away, I'm going to redo it completely, and I'm going to make it bigger and better than we were going to do before. So this time it's actually going to be basically a bit bigger than this cutting mat is the idea. So we're going to have a nice big back on it, have on the sides, everything else like that, so we get an X-wing into it, the Y-wing into it, and a couple of TIE fighters. We're going to have the trench guns as well. We're going to put those into it, and a few other bits and pieces. So that will be up in December. I've got plans for it. I've even done sketches for it, and trust me, I must be serious if I'm sketching. Okay, so Donald says, another quick question. This one's for Steve. I'm fascinated by your husky. Has he got an end on the out? Is it husky?
Yeah, he's spelled it husky. He probably can't understand my accent, but yeah, it's
right,
husky.
okay. Well, I didn't know. I didn't know if it was a husky or a husker, and I've been saying it wrong. I'm probably not spelling it right. Yeah, you're right. It's just it's a husky. I built it, but got no idea what it is. Can you talk about it? Steve did the review on this with me. We did a joint review on this one.
Yeah, we did. Basically, that's how it'll look when it's.
Hold on, let me put you on full screen. If I can get my mouse all the way over there. There we go. That's what it'll be.
That's what it'll look like.
Thing.
Yeah, basically, mine's got the mine detector under the belly. It's obviously that way. It's basically they use it out in Afghanistan and Iraq, and it goes ahead of any convoy. The front part, which is that, is a mine detection ground penetrating radar, and it'll detect any IEDs, mines that may lay in the road. It'll pick up, even obviously because of the radar part, it'll pick up plastic containers, anything like that, any metal objects. And also the one under the belly will do the same. Some carry both, some just have the one on the front. And once it discovers something, it'll then obviously move out the way, and then they'll send in the IED. Usually one of the buffaloes will go in with its big claw on the front, and they'll investigate to see what's going on, what it actually is. So, and obviously it's mine protected, V-shaped hull, so nothing will get up there. So it's basically there to protect vehicles and look for IEDs.
There was a great series, wasn't there? Obviously, you guys in the US would have had it even before us, where it followed a IED team, didn't it?
Yeah, it's
and that's
US
what it
Navy
was.
do it, don't they?
Yeah,
It's
it was a
usually
three.
them.
It was like a 3-vehicle squad, wasn't it? Where you had the Husky at the front, and then you'd have like the Buffalo, and then like the command one at the rear, and they used to go in the front of all the convoys and that. But it was a series here on Sky, which I watched, and it was great because it had all up close, and yeah, they all had their cams on and everything else with the vehicles.
It's
and doing
on,
it. But
I think it was on
great.
National Geographic.
Yeah, yeah, and it was a
Sure.
great series because it was like warts and all using all that gear, so it was very good. So there we go. So we're looking forward to that time for Telford. Brilliant. No pressure. Okay, Gary. Good day, Phil and Steve. I have a question about wash colours and how it are the best suit certain colours. I'm painting a Japanese World War II plane and have both dark green and light green in the paint scheme. Would you use different colours of wash? Let's say grey for the dark green and dark dirt for the grey. Along the same lines, I noticed that you have applied the wash to your Mitsubishi F1. You did not apply any wash to the black tail. Would the light colour wash not have brought out the panel lines, or would you simply be too bold for the scale? Keep up the great work. To be honest, I used one colour right the way over the entire thing. The dark dirt, you'd be amazed how well that looks on dark colours because it goes light when it's on dark. My trouble with using the greys is that it's fine, but it's very strong. But that's not too bad because you can add a little bit of dark dirt to the grey and just make it a lighter dark dirt and do it that way. The simple way I always say is start off with dark dirt right the way over everything. You'll be amazed how well that works over anything. And then what you can do is come in and if you think, right, it's not really working, you can then knock up a couple of shades, put a couple of drops of like grey and either run it straight over the top or you can go in. The black, when you look at references, because it's a gloss black, they don't tend to get dirty. Because it's a show bird as well with this one, is that they always tend to be out there with a cloth, with a little bit of, you know, cleaner, and you see them polishing it. Trust me, a few years ago now, I was at Riyadh, and funny enough, there was a tornado there, one of the anniversary ones, and it's got a white tail. Every time it flew, they came back. The first thing the crew did, once they had put it to bed, were up there cleaning it, because the reverse thruster buckets on it used to make it filthy, and they were up there wiping away with, you know, a rag, trying to clean it all. I imagine this being a sort of, you know, a celebration jet, they would do the same. So the chances are they would always keep this tail clean. Even though the rest of it might get dirty, the chances are they'll look after the tail. So that's why I didn't go in there with like a light wash and have this pop effect. I wanted to keep it quite subtle all the way through. So although this has got quite heavy panel lining and stuff like that, you know, the wash is obviously going to stand in there quite nicely. Hopefully with the post shading and then laying off of certain areas, it just makes it all pop and come together and everything else like that, you know, and brings it out the best bits with it, you know, so that's why I'd avoid it. But trust me, go in there with a dark dirt, chuck that absolutely over it, see how it looks once it's dried and been taken off. If you do want to adjust it, then you can either just knock up a little bit more, so just do a little bit more dark dirt, add a little bit of grey to it, lighten it, and then put that over the green and just see what you get from it. But I think probably the light wash or the grey wash is going to be too strong directly. They're more designed for doing things that you want to do, like winter camo works. The grey works well in a sort of a dust environment and stuff like that, because it gives you a sort of dusty effect, and obviously it can be mixed with other things. But if you were doing white, for instance, you could go with a grey wash right the way over it and make it pop in that way. So again, it's just one of those things, what looks right to you, and in different scales, because some things scale up better than others. If you're doing a 1/24 something, the dark dirt, you can get away with using black because of the size of the thing, but obviously if you're using black on smaller scales, it will look too much, and that goes the same with greys and whites and stuff like that as well. So yes. Okay, so right, you got your demo bit ready?
Yeah.
Nigel says, good afternoon, Phil and Steve. Hope you get loads of treats last night. Yeah, I didn't go out. I should have done. I should have worn my Stormtrooper outfit. I've just started to build the Trumpeter 135 M1133 Striker MEV and have quite a pile of tyres. How would you each weather the tyres? Would you prime them, etc.? Or can you take a straight enamel wash? Good point. I've never thought of that.
Well,
Steve?
we'll test the animal. Well, that's the one for the Husky.
Sorry, we're still on you.
Oh, we are, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. That's all right.
Oh.
Good job you're good looking. Go on.
Yeah, it's good job I wasn't doing anything that I shouldn't have been doing. You know. But yeah, you start obviously with the normal vinyl rubber wheel, but I always start and just give it a. Just go over. Oh, just move the camera down a bit instead of swapping cameras then. Yeah, just give it a sand to start with. It's often best, unless you really want to damage the tyre, don't go with a coarse grip. I think this is kind of medium, but it's quite worn as well. I've been using it for some time, but yeah, just give it a sand and it just takes the shininess off it. It'll also key the surface, so when you do want to get around to putting a wash on there, it'll take it. But I never prime them and never paint them. I'll just scuff them up. But don't like on this one. There's quite a bit of writing. I'll want to keep that. I don't want to damage that writing. So yeah, just do that. And as you can see, it takes all the shininess off it, and it.
Yeah.
So then you start going to base. As for enamel wash, I'll test it.
I was going to say, I've never tried a wash directly onto a tyre, funny enough. I've done pigments on and rubbed them on, and things like that, but never tried an enamel wash directly onto the rubber.
Well, usually what I do is put pigment straight on it, or I'll airbrush it, the dirt colours on. It should, I can't see why it won't. This is just streak effects. It's modern US colour from Big, which I rather like actually. It's I've got a little bit of white spirit in the pot because I've been obviously doing that, but yeah, just put it straight on. Can't see why it won't take it. Has no effect in. Just plaster it on.
Well, it works. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
I must say, those tyres look really nice. I love the bulged, sidewalls on them to give it that sort of, pressured look and worn look already that they've got. So good tyres, those.
Yeah,
nice level
but I
of
would
detail on them.
Yeah, you do want to find yourself a good reference picture of the striker in the obviously theatre where it is, whether you want to show it just training in America or whether you want to show it out in Afghanistan. Because that depends on how the dirt settles in whether it sticks in the tread or just on the outside of the tread or actually gets right in there. They all differ how they look, and that's quite key. People think, oh, it's just a tie, but no, I think getting that right really adds to the model.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no problem. It takes it really well.
Very nice.
Cool.
As I say, it's one of those things with tyres and that, getting them right, on vehicles is a lot more important than it is on aircraft because they're, especially on a striker, it's a big area that you're going to be looking at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to say it's usually kind of just colours that you'll be putting on it, not kind of a grime colour like this.
Yeah. Okay, so Terry says, hi both. Phil, I just wonder if you could recommend some MRP paints for the Trumpeter 172nd MiG-29 919 you reviewed fairly recently, please. Yeah, we did mention this on last month's live show, Tuesday night show, and I got the colours wrong. John was on the ball with it, and he told me, because they are in a different place, although I've moved them all again now, haven't I? Hold on, Southeast Asia, area, REF. Yeah, hold on, they changed the colours. It was a different colour green, that's what it was. Have a look. Oh god, I can't see off the top of my head. What I'm going to have to do is do a new crib sheet for all of this, aren't I? Because I'm pretty sure
I've still got them up on my...
John called out the colours and they were something completely odd to what we had.
Well, back to your MiG-31 is 189.
Right. Actually, grey.
I just called it out, didn't I? Is it...
It's funny because I was calling out the number of it, and then John was like, "No, actually, it's blah blah blah." Ah, there we go. Right. Okay. So it depends on which one it is. That's the ones. Got it. Okay. So. Okay. So the ones for the two-tone MiG-29s. These are the ones because we got it wrong last time, so I gave out the wrong ones. I knew they were a funny colour. That'll be these two. So down here, it's MRP 91 and MRP 92. Which is Russian original two-tone camo on MiG-29s for Russian, Slovak, Polish and Hungarian ones. Okay, so you've got that too. You've got the light grey and the light green. This is the two colours for that 72nd one for the 919 ski. That's the ones you want. Because I gave them out and I gave out the other version. Because I was wrong. So yes, that's those ones. Unfortunately, to me, the dark grey looks too pale compared to the photographs I found online. So I'd be grateful for any advice. Well, as you say, I haven't got there yet or been near it and all the rest of it, but the MRP stuff does seem to be very, very good. Their colour references are pretty much spot on. Again, make sure you give them a good mix. That's really, really important. But yeah, that seems to be is their two tones for those colours that they're giving out for it. And John looked at it and John said they seem to be pretty spot on to him. So give those a go, Terry. Have a look at those. Okay, Chris says, hi Phil and Steve. For the past year, I've been using Tester's flat coat on my aircraft as the finish, but I'd like to move away from it due to the strong chemical smell it gives off. Could you recommend a flat finish that works well with Vallejo, Tamiya or Aquitas hobby colour? For some reason I'm having trouble finding them. Well, the good old Tamiya, over here. If you're going to go down the acrylic route, then again, this is the one. Tamiya Flat Clear XF86, absolutely love it. Works an absolute treat. That's the one I would highly recommend. It's pretty much 50-50 mix, high air pressure, long distance for a flat coat. If you want to make it more of a satin coat, make it a little bit thinner, close in the distance, lower your air pressure a bit, and that'll give you a more satin look to it. Really, really nice stuff. Works very, very well. I must admit, I've been using the MRP, which is what I used on this one, but it's lacquer based and it's smelly, so you don't want to go down that route. But for an acrylic, that would be my choice. Well, it is my choice. It's my go-to one. That's why it's over here. That's my acrylic one of choice. Pretty straightforward. You like that one as well, don't you, Steve?
Oh, absolutely love it. Yeah. Only problem I've found that if you don't put too heavy a coat on, because it can start going kind of white ever so slightly. So just put a thin coat on. I'll probably thin it a bit more than you, probably 70% thinner, and it's stunning. If you can spray Tamiya paint, you can spray that. It's just as good, and it gives the best flat finish, I think.
Yeah, definitely. The great thing with it, you use it like you would use any other Tamiya paint. There's no special things to it or anything else like that, so it's a nice, easy, forgiving flat coat, and I must admit it works really, really well. Okay, Dennis says, hi Phil and Steve. Phil, when handling extremely thin decals, they tend to wrinkle up when I slide them off the edge of the carrier paper. I guess it's because of the step created between the paper and the paper thickness. I noticed that you always pick up the decal from the carrier paper with a wet brush. Does this have any advantages over sliding off of the paper, and will this work for thin decals? Yeah, when you see me do it, when I'm doing any decaling, I tend to do that thing. If it's not going to sort of fold up like wallpaper and be a pain to sort of put out, I just pick it up with a brush. So I've got quite a large brush and I'll pull it off with the brush. I've pre-wetted the area and then I'll just drop it on and push it all out. If it's a long one, like a walkway or a stripe or something else like that, I'll leave it on the backing paper. If it's big, like when we did the, or did we? I can't remember now. But normally if it's a big decal, what I'll do is I will then put it into a situation where I've got the model down, I will then put it on top, hold it at one end and slide out the paper. So then that way the decal drops down into position, purely so it's in a better location. Because if I'm trying to do it on a brush and put it on, the chances are it's going to be a wavy line. So doing it that way, you can put it at one end, hold it, pull out the backing paper and it just drags it in a straight line and it's pretty much in the same place. You might have to do some little refinements and knock it into, you know, final position, but it makes it easier. Pros and cons, it's just the way you do. I don't have a problem. It seems to be a question that's come up a lot recently, the last couple of weeks, about very thin decals and stuff. As long as the decal is in warm water is the key. That'll stop it cracking and it makes it a little bit more softer and makes it bend a bit more easy and all the rest of it. I just prefer to sort of pull it off with the brush, have it on the brush. I can then put it exactly where I want. I normally use, as you've seen, scissors or tweezers, hold it and then slide the brush off, and then I can just then put it down, get it into position, roll it around with a cotton bud and do it. I tend to treat all decals equally. It doesn't matter if they're fat, thin, if they're particularly brittle or something else. It tends to be the same technique. It's just get them onto the model as soon as possible. Make sure that area is really wet, so that way it doesn't bite, because if it bites it can crack, it can split. Okay, get it into the position you want it, get the water out of it, and even if you're over a raised bit of detail or sort of, if you've got veins on the wings and it sits on there, I would just put it roughly in the area, then it's getting in there with a setting solution, and lots of it. Let the setting solution do all the work so it softens it, pulls it in nicely and gets on with it, and it's time. That is the biggest thing, and I'm guilty because I rush it, but you should do that thing of let it go, see what it looks like. If it's not looking right, give it another coat of setting solution, walk away, give it another day, come back, so forth and so on. If you've got some silver in, cut it once it's dry with a knife, going always all in the same direction. Don't do crosses, because otherwise you can have it lifting apart, it's going to destroy, but just slice it evenly right the way over it, setting solution brushed over it, again in the same direction, don't go against it in case it splits, and everything else like that, and just give it time to go down and in. The bit where you start to rush it, that's when it's going to go wrong. You're going to get it cracking, breaking up, or generally tearing and things like that. So just be a little bit more patient with your decaling. And right, so Rob, hi Phil and Steve. First off, many thanks for all the efforts you and the guys put into the live shows. It's much appreciated. Always any suggestions for painting for slime lines on modern RAF aircraft? I don't want to use the applied decals on my 132nd Typhoon as the colours look too bright for me. Cheers, Rob. You can buy aftermarket slime lines. I've got them on my Typhoon. To be honest, they're a little bit yellowy, but because of the scale effect and because I've post shaded over the top of it, it does knock it back a bit. It's not as bright as they might seem on the paper. But if you want that more green look rather than the yellow look, it used to be, I can't remember who does it now. Actually, I might have some in my wonderful small book of stuff. One of the decal manufacturers actually brought out a series of just slime line decals. It was just a pack of them. I don't know if I've got it, and I can't even remember who did it now. I've got, I think it might have been someone like Afterburner Decals, who I believe aren't with us anymore, and all the rest of it. But one of the manufacturers just literally did a sheet of slime lines and stuff like that. No, that's stencil data. Don't know, I have to check. But yes, if you have a look at them, then somebody might be able to put you in the right direction for things like that. I've got it in here. One of those things, I'll never find it. Aftermarket. Yes, I've got a few decals. What did I do? Let's have a sale. No, God knows. Yes, I can't remember who it was, but somebody I'm sure did crunch a aftermarket thing on that. Oh no, my files broke. So yes. Quick, Steve, help! Quick, Steve, do the next question.
Right, no, I'm going to make you suffer.
It's alright, my files just burst open. They've all fallen out. Hold on. Right, well, we'll have to salvage that later. So yeah, have a look round aftermarket jobs. I'm pretty sure, because you've got the decals for that one as well, Steve, haven't you? Do those come with slime line decals in there? Or is it just kit parts for that one? Can't remember which one it was now. So yes, for the 37 ones. Yeah, I don't know if it comes with the decals for the slime lines.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Oh, it does.
These are the Caracal.
Yeah.
See them up the top. These are the Caracal decals for the Battle of Britain one.
Yeah.
So I think most aftermarket decals do, don't they? Include them.
So if you're going down that route, chances are they'll be the more greeny look rather than the bright yellow ones.
Yeah.
So you could do that route. Okay, Raymond says, hello to you both. On the easier subject, the earlier subject of spray booths, how do you cope with the replacement filters? I find that manufacturers' replacements are rather expensive than the cheap alternatives. Right, I don't know what date it was, but I did a full thing on this. But basically, just so it happens, I have one queued up here. I buy this stuff, which is, you can buy it cheap on eBay, and as I said, I've got a huge roll of it still out in the shed, which is probably enough to make, I don't know, maybe 50 or 60 of these. So all I did, and I did it as a video, as a bit of a comedy one. I sped it out and you showed me cutting it up. But I get one of their filters, which is this one. I cut the back of it, so the grid off the back, and then all we do is do it in reverse, and then we just come along here, and then we just tuck this guy in to the thing, and then we just pop it down in here. I'm surprised there isn't other companies out there now flogging this and saying it's their own.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, come and get
All right,
perfect.
Yeah, that's it. Replacement filter system. But there we go, that's it. So what it is, because obviously it will suck it through, you just buy a roll of this. You don't have to buy it. I think mine was 60 metres by 2 metres. That's why I've got tons of it. Okay, they do it in smaller rolls, but it's damn sight cheaper because I only paid, I can't remember what it was now, 45 quid for the roll. Bearing in mind one of these filters is like 15 quid. All right, so all I do is that, and then, but you don't put it in that way because otherwise it will suck your filter in. So you put it in back to front. So the bit where it says this face forward, just do it that way, and then this way, what happens is this gets sucked inwards. It doesn't suck the filter into it because it's got the grill behind it, and you just spray straight onto that, and that's what that is, and that will just go in there. And also, you don't have to change the filter out a bit. What I tend to do is just pull this off into a bag, tie it, and it goes out straight away, and I just pull it off the front. It saves having to dismantle the entire front of it to change the filter. You can just literally get it, fold it together very carefully because it's messy as hell, and then literally I normally bin it, and then I change everything around it as well because all the dusty bits fall off the front, and you can do it all in one. That probably cost me 50p, if that. I think we worked it out. It works out to like 57p with the VAT to change the filter. So that's why I always say as well, as soon as you notice you're getting, you know, stuff in the air, means your filter's not working as well. It's blocking it. It's not sucking it through. So then it's time for a change. And then because it's really cheap, it's not like you're thinking, God, I don't know what they charge. 50 odd quid for 3 filters. This way you can then just change them at your heart's content, and it's not breaking the bank. And also what you can do is, because to be honest, Steve's had a load of mine, is that get a few of you together, all chip in, and then just, you know, locally to you, have an afternoon chopping it all up, so you've all got squares of it like that, and you all come away with instant filters. And it'll work for anything, any size of filter you've got. But it's just automotive air booth filter, that's what it is. And it's all universally the same. Blue on one side, white on the other. Blue side to the outside, that's it. Right. Right, Malcolm. Hi, chaps. Phil. If you had to choose, are you a modeler first and an aircraft, or an aircraft enthusiast first? See you all at Telford and Newbury are in Hall 2, as well as you. If you could keep it down to a dull roar, that would be great. Yeah, well, we usually upset everyone. That's probably difficult. Probably I'm a modeler first, purely because I love my aircraft, that's my passion, but I love my sci-fi, as you know. I like my armour, I love my military history, my medieval stuff, and anything like that at all. So I'd probably say I'm a modeler first, then a aircraft enthusiast second. Although aircraft enthusiast is what got me into doing this, because it was just being closer to aircraft. I could build them as a kid, so that's why I did it. But yeah, I would say I'm a modeler first, then an enthusiast. Steve, what about you?
Definitely modeler first, you know, and then I'd say aircraft and armour second. I'm not into all the history and specifications of aircraft. But yeah, I do like, obviously, I love watching them perform at air shows, stuff like that, photographing them. But I've never been into the history of them and stuff like that. I like reading first-hand accounts, biographies of whether it be pilots or the troops who have been out in Afghanistan. You know, read their memoirs, I find them fascinating.
Yeah.
And about Apache crews and stuff like that. It's just amazing. But I'm not into one of these who, if I buy a book, it's for reference, because it's a good reference material. And I want to know a little bit about it, but I won't go into, well, it's got blah, blah, blah type of wiring. I'm not into all that, or the history of them and stuff. You know what I mean? Where they get real anarchy. I'm not into that, you know. But for me, it's more, I enjoy just seeing them. And
Yeah, definitely. I must admit, you know, there is that side of it, is that I think it's that boyhood thing. You know, with me, I love my aviation, I love my flight simming, and stuff like that. And it's just that all around, all in sort of caption thing. I like my flight simming. I don't just do like flight sim. I used to fly with VATSIM. You guys who do virtual airlines will know all about that. I spent years of my life doing that in the sort of early 90s. And you know, doing that, and now I fly DCS online. I fly the A10. I know it technically inside out. I use all the systems on it. You know, it's not just a case of getting in. I know how to start it, run it, and fly it. I pretty much know that thing inside out, and I enjoy that sort of detailed side of it. I love hitting the books, and if anyone's ever done it, you'll know the books for these things are massive, and I'll quite happily sit down and chew my way through those. Strange what you find to relax doing, but yeah, it's all different things. But armour, I've always said that I love armour. I love the difference between aircraft and armour is, if you go to an air show, you can't get near the aircraft. They keep you at a nice long distance. Yet you go to anything with armour, like, you know, armour, you know, anything to do with heavy military equipment, you can crawl all over it because no one cares, because you can't break it. And I love that sort of hands-on, being able to touch, like going to Bovington Tank Museum. You know, you can touch anything there because you're not going to break it. And all the rest of it, and I love that closeness of being with armour and the heavy metal things. As I say, I've done tank driving and various bits and pieces like that, and I love that real you can be engaged with it. You don't have to be a pilot to do it and have lots of money with armour. You know, anybody with a medium-sized budget can go out and just buy a tank and stuff like that, whereas sort of aircraft tends to be a bit more elitist. So I prefer armour from that point of view over aircraft. But there's something about aircraft just flying around and the sheer noise and power and everything else like that. It just, you know, works for me every single time. And it is that thing, because obviously, you know, we all say what inspires you. And literally I can go to an air show and that's it. I'm inspired for the next 12 months. That's all I'll need just to keep me going and all the rest of it. And the same, I can go to Bovington and go to Tank Fest and stuff like that. And that'll do the same thing as well. So yeah, big kid at heart. Okay, so Donald says, hi guys, a great show as usual. Enjoy these Q&As. Fortunately for me, even though I'm in Okinawa, my shift work has me up most of the time and able to watch. That's handy. Just, yeah, you're well in front of us thinking about it. Just a quick question for Steve. I was wondering what colour you are using for the Husky build. If it's self-mix, what colours and ratios are you using? Much appreciated. Many thanks. Keep up the great work.
I've been using MRP's Desert Tan.
What number's that?
That is number 80, FS 33446 US Modern AFBs. Absolutely fantastic colour. I'm surprised how much paint I went through. You don't realise how big that thing is, the Husky, because of all the framework, all the underside, the big radar on the front. It takes a lot of paint to get that really well covered. But to be honest, I think that's the best colour that I've used. It sprays the best. If I didn't have this, I'd use AK's. They do a modern one, which is, if I've got any to hand, I don't think I have actually. Oh yeah, I do. AK do an OEF US vehicles base colour, which is AK122. Again, this is a bit tricky to spray, I find. You need a little drop of retarder, and I used Vallejo airbrush cleaner as a thinner, and that seemed to get it. But I also had a little shot glass full of airbrush cleaner, so I kept using a paintbrush just to keep wiping the needle to keep it nice and clean. But that's the second colour. So if you can't get MRP, US Modern, go for the AK.
Yeah. It's funny because you'd think all the manufacturers would do it, but you know, it tends to be only AK in that, because I know Vallejo do a few, but as we've said, they're not seem to be that spot on.
Yeah.
They seem to be as good as the newer guys have got out now. Okay, so John says, hi guys, I have a 1/48 scale H5 Wessex. Yeah, I've got one of them somewhere. Here it is. Yep. Is it the H5? Yeah, HC2 and the H5. Wessex, and I would like to do it in the Royal Navy with rescue colours of the blue, grey and red. Which are the nearest blue-grey colours that I can use? Colours to use, as I can't seem to find the right ones. Cheers, John. Pass. I don't know. Hold on, let me grab the kit. Okay, so I take it you're going to go with the XT75 which would be this one here, I take it, you're thinking of. Now, the thing is, it's going to sound like we're just flogging MRP here, isn't it? But MRP actually do the red and blue colours. Hold on, let me see if it's what they're giving out and see if it's going to go along those lines. See, every time I get this kit out, I'm thinking, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this.
I wish you do, because I want to take the other one off you and build it.
It's so nice. Every time I do, I get this kit out and I'm like, oh, I've got to do this thing. It's going to be beautiful when it's done. Right, okay, so, well, goody for us, because they give out Humbrol colours, or AK. So in Humbrol land, it's 157. Sorry, yeah, 157 and 153, which I had it the other day. Where's my paint Bible gone? I don't know what I've done with that now. Hold on, I've lost my paint Bible. Which I assume is just your standard royal blue. Can you check that blue for me, Steve? Humbrol 157 or AK's 5004?
57. Right, where's my...
I've done with me paint Bible. I've lost me. Normally after the live show I lose everything, not before it. One of those things now, I've shifted it. Probably all fell over. So yeah, the thing is, but Humbrol...
It's Azure Blue.
Azores Blue, yeah?
Which MRP, I know we're going back to keep...
Yeah, they do it.
Azure Blue, which is 119.
Mm-hmm.
It says the nearest Vallejo's 904, but that looks a bit... That don't look right at all. Humbrol looks really good, actually.
I was going to say, this looks a bit sort of light blue compared to that.
Yeah, well, that's World
blue.
War II, in it, as a blue.
Yeah.
So this is more...
But the thing is, I know that MRP also do REF blue, they call it, and REF red. They do those two colours as well in their vast list. So yes.
Yeah. You see, you could probably get it for MRP. You could probably get it where we're using Oxford Blue 183 and Signal Red 184.
Yeah.
But I think you really need to kind of check different paint manufacturers and see which one looks kind of right.
Yeah.
Maybe have a look at extra acrylics, extra colour. They might do it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it is a nice scheme, isn't it? That one. Pretty cool. Must admit, we like that. Sold. Mind you, I must admit, I quite like the old, the other one, the HC2, with the Union Jack on it as well.
Yeah.
Say something very cool about a Wessex. We like a Wessex. Yes, it'd be interesting to see that one as well if you do that one. But yeah, have a look round and then just have a, you know, obviously you've got the colour call outs for it. So as you're going to say, it's 157, 153 and 126 in Humbrol, and in AK world they're giving it out as 5004 for the blue, 740 for the red and 734 for the grey. So, you know, have a look, see what works to you, check your references, and then sort of you know, play your game from there really at the end of the day. But as I say, Azores Blue looks well out. It's far too light for that one. That's just sort of looks more like a midstone blue. But yes, have a good look round for that one. Okay, so Gary says, hi fellas, I'm struggling to find the go-to range of metallics. What would be the absolute recommendation for airbrushing, airbrushable metallics? Also, what primer do you favour now? Thanks again, and we'll see you at Telford. Gary. Again, we've had this one. If you're going to be going, if you want a straightforward, trouble-free, something like we did with these guys, you know, just spraying this down. I love the AK Extreme Metals. They're as hard as nails and it just works. It doesn't seem to matter exactly how you put them down, they tend to work. They do this weird thing where you first put them down, they don't look much, and then they pop. So as soon as they dry, they look a lot better. The MRP's really easy to use, very easy to spray. As I said, we've been using it on this guy right the way through, and we've been using AKs. They've worked really, really well. If you can hold off till Monday, part 2 of the Gundam, that's going to be all about spraying the metals and putting it together and everything else like that. So it'd be well worth having a look there, because I show about spraying it on the spruce to give a really nice over finish to make it work and putting it down. So from that point of view, I love both. But the MRP stuff, again, I know we seem to harping on about it. It's a bit smelly because it's lacquer based, but it just works. It works really, really well and goes down pretty much flawless. But again, learning about it, not a full trigger pull, half trigger only, let it gently build up, lower air pressure. The AK Extreme Metals would be my go-to one. If you haven't used the MRPs and all the rest of it, you don't want to have a new range of metallics, and obviously they're a lot easier to get hold of, the AK ones, you can just literally go down that route, pretty straightforward. Just very forgiving. It's not like Alclad where you have to prep for it. Primer wise, great fan of Tamiya X1 if you want a mirror finish. So Tamiya X1 is absolutely fantastic for it, but you know, to be honest, we did the metal work on the back of that, straight over primer. So AK's microfiller primer works very, very well. It's nice, it's smooth, it goes down beautiful. They also do their own primer as well. To be honest, I don't think there's much between it. I think this is probably very similar to the AK's own primer, but their AK primer works very well as well. So from that point of view, that's the way. If you're going to go acrylic, then obviously the Vallejo metal colour, which are these ones. So the Vallejo metal colour, airbrush colours, beautiful, work really, really well. So if you want to go acrylic, that would be my option. But you'll need something in there or a paint mixer to mix them up. Okay, so definitely do that one. Steve, what is your metal finish of choice?
If you just got to be airbrushing it, you're probably best going for AK. If you want one that you can airbrush and also brush paint, I'd go for Vallejo's metal colour.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Definitely. Right. Okay. So, Anthony says, "Hi both. Thank you so much for replying to my tornado decal disaster. Lesson learnt. Phil, you seem to be struggling reading your monitors. Do you know why? It's because it looks like it's getting smaller. Have you ever had your eyes tested recently? You're at that time of life, you know." To be honest, I had them done not so long ago, and we're okay. We're not quite there yet. Just what I need to do is make that a little bit bigger, I think. What it is because it's the writing on back. If it's the other way around, it'd be a lot easier. So yes. So yeah, that's it.
There you go, Phil. I just put a bit of Africa dust effects on these vinyl tyre. You can see how just a little bit of wash starts bringing out all the detail.
Yeah.
So, and it's had no effect. Just a little sand just takes the shininess off, and then just put a wash on and just start working it in there.
Cool.
So it does. It's easy to do. I like to do. Obviously, I'll put some pigments on there once I've got the wheel on, wheel hub in the middle, and then you get it a bit more realistic then.
So right, I'm just closing that thread. Finished.
Well, while you do that, I can quickly mention what I've got building for the Thanksgiving turkey shoot. It's got to be one of these, either the pickup truck, Hellcat, or something a bit different. It's got to be do a Revel pickup truck, which should be a bit kind of distressed looking, a bit rust coming through, faded paint. So it's one of them three kits, so I don't know which. So I might just say let you guys choose if you want.
I was going to say you could put a thing up in the forum.
Yeah, and see who they pick. We
can see what one works for that one.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And if nobody picks out, I'll just sit here with a sanding stick doing my nails.
Whittling.
Yeah.
No, that's it. I must admit, I'm really drawn. I'm probably think I'm going to do the Corsair. So this will be my one for the shoot. It's the end of the month, isn't it? Is it 25th, 24th?
Yeah.
Let me just make sure it's still in here, because I've had this in my stash for, forever. Right, decals look good. Clear parts are still in there.
Is it the 26th?
Is it? I don't know. It'll be down in there somewhere. But this will be my entry. This is what I'm going to build in 4 days we're going to whip through doing this little lad. I'll probably get the colour photo etch set for it. I think I've actually got an ejector seat for this anyway. And yeah, that'll probably do it. I'm probably going to go with those markings as well. We'll do the Stingers markings because I do like the Stingers stuff as their CAG bird, because it's a limited edition, so it's got the decals for it, even though I've got tons of decals for them anyway. But yeah, something a little bit different.
Oh, apparently we're starting on the 24th of November.
Right.
Which is a Thursday.
Yeah.
And finishing on the Sunday the 27th.
Oh, hold on. I thought we were starting. Yeah, well, I'll tell you why, because we're doing it for the Thanksgiving for the US Army.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, okay, that's fine. Yeah, originally we were going to do. Yeah, I know. That's alright, don't matter.
No, we'll fit it in.
That's it. So we do US times for it as well. So I was thinking, Steve doesn't know this yet, but I was thinking what we would do is obviously we could do one broadcast sort of in the morning-ish, and then we could do another one during the evening. We do 2 broadcasts a day for a couple of hours each time, or probably more in the evenings. We'll just sit here and yap as we build.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
The guys can all join in and everything else like that. So it'll be right the way over the holiday break for that one. So it'll be a nice one. Although we don't get it in the UK, so sorry for everyone in England. It's the US one. It's because they don't have November the 5th. They have to make up for it and have another holiday. So that's all right. So I'm just making sure we're all good. That is locked. So yes, there we go, guys. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for all your questions and everything else like that as we make our way through. I'll be on later on because we've got the other one tonight, although I don't know who's coming to it yet. So unfortunately, Adam can't make it. We've got no John. John won't be able to make it for until after Christmas now because he has to work. Unfortunately, being a postman, it's all you lot flogging, buying stuff on Amazon, and he can't get the time off. He's not allowed time off. Well, he is. He's coming to Telford. So, yes. Right. Okie dokie then. So, thank you. You got anything else, Steve? You're all done?
Oh, that's me. I'm all done, yeah.
You're all done. Right. Okay. So, we'll see you a little bit later on tonight. If you want to watch us again tonight for a couple of hours. And then, obviously, tomorrow you're going to get the final instalment with this guy. Will be up with you. That's the final part of that one is going up tomorrow. So you've got that one up with the final reveal. So that one we're talking all about the post shading of it and doing all the aftermarket type of bits and pieces with that one. And then, as I say, on Monday we'll be back up with Gundam World. We're getting that one in, and then by next Wednesday will be the first part of this. Next week will be a little bit all over the place. Obviously me and Steve will still do our Q&A Tuesday, but I might be here, there and everywhere preparing for Telford, because obviously, as you'll see in the vlogs, it's a complete nightmare for us because it takes a week to sort it out and then another week when we get back to put it all back together again. So yeah, it's quite a hectic time for us, but you'll see all about that to make our way through. So thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again on Saturday. Is it this Saturday we're on?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, again, we're live everywhere at the moment. So Saturday you can join me and Steve Saturday morning live, and we're going to be doing more work because have you finished your slave one yet?
Yeah, my slave one, which is here, is all ready for paint. So
very good.
So I quite like the look of this.
Bobber on Saturday, and I'll build slave one.
Yeah, we can do. Yeah, this is brilliant because you can pause it and
gives it a jaunty angle look.
Yeah, quite cool is that. Oh, I know you can have it horizontal as well, so it's landed and have the ramp down at the back.
Yeah.
I just prefer it in flight look, actually.
Well, I do, so you can see all the engine detail, really.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
The back is fantastic.
Oh, very good. Right, so yeah, so next up, obviously I'll be up with you later on tonight, and then obviously me and Steve will be up on Saturday morning. Then we've got Tuesday Q&A, obviously on Tuesday as well, and then the next time we see you all will be at Telford. So we'll be vlogging it right the way through. We're going to start vlogging Friday morning from when we pack up and leave here, and we're going to vlog live. Probably, I'm thinking I might do it via Facebook rather than YouTube, because YouTube tends to be a bit of a ball ache trying to do that, if I'm honest. So it might be easier just to use the live streaming capabilities from Facebook, sorry, than YouTube, because YouTube tends to be a bit of a hassle. I don't know. We'll test it before and we'll see what works best. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We'll see you all again later. Bye.
Bye.
Oh no, wrong one. I'll get this right one day. Bye.